All right, everybody. Welcome to the stream. Here we have Kenny joining me for these PRs. Say hello to the people, Kenny.
What up, guys? How's it going? I'm going to judge you all
All right.
brutally, cruelly, and in a cutthroat manner,
Exactly, yes. All
especially
right,
Legion.
everybody, ready for the stream. Here we have Kenny joining me for these PRs. Say hello to the people, Kenny.
What up, guys?
All right, there we go. I think everything should be getting good. Okay. So first and foremost for the tier list, here we have this all pulled up. All right. So first off on the tier list here, of course, we are doing the Showdown division to start us off here. The Showdown division, basically, we don't have Terra here. We're only doing basically megas up to ZA. So we're going to be using like Mega Halucha, Mega Shandy, even Mega Delphox is for some reason allowed.
That should not be allowed, by the way.
I definitely agree. But on top of all that as well, um, people are able to draft multiple megas. I think it was like max of two were able to be drafted. Correct me if I'm wrong, Kenny. I know I'm a mod here, but I don't remember the rules.
So it is 2 megas, and you have a total of 25 points just to specifically spend on your megas. It's not like a separate point pool, but you can't spend more than 25 points on mega Pokemon, is what I'm trying to say.
Yes, for sure. I hope we aren't too loud. I can readjust my volume a little bit. So let me know if we are a little too loud at all. But for right now, let's just get right into it. So we're starting off with Mr. Kennybot himself because he managed to get a round one pick. So let's just
was very lucky.
see.
I want to start off with talking about what I like about my team and what I think my team struggles with, and then you, from an outside perspective, give the ultimate judgment on the team and like tell me like obviously your thoughts, and then you decide the placement. I feel like it's not fair for me to decide my own placement, but
Yeah, I can definitely understand that. While you talk about that, I am just going to be working on fixing the crop here a little bit.
alrighty. So my team centers around either setting the possibility of setting up rain or sun to supremely benefit my team. I feel like it centers mostly around Greninja, Victini, Raging Bolt, and like Tornadus. I feel like on my big four Pokemon. With Legend ZA changes, Greninja having Nasty Plot is a huge deal. So I feel like it is an absolutely devastating sweeper. Um, and I feel like the combination of my threats on my team are a very big nightmare to prepare for. And outside of my Dugong, I have a very huge freeze dry weakness, and an Iron Bundle would totally destroy my team. So I specifically drafted Dugong for that Iron Bundle matchup because he absolutely eats that freeze dry with what is that 0.125 times resistance. That's pretty beast.
Yeah, that is
uh,
pretty beast, can't lie.
but I am a little bit lacking in the hazard removal department. I only have 2 removers, but I feel like Tornadus and Iron Treads are 2 very good hazard removers. I feel like you can easily slot either Defog on Tornadus or Rapid Spin on an Iron Treads on just about any week that you plan to bring removal, you know?
Yeah, for
Um,
sure. Um,
uh,
yeah. Okay, are you done talking about your team or got a few more things yet?
those are my like one last thing I wanted to point out are the other ZA changes, which are Sylveon gets taunt and Sableye notably gets parting shot. So I think Sableye becomes an absolute nightmare to deal with, parting shot, because he can just spam negative status conditions and things. Obviously, dark types exist, but it's just a very obnoxious Pokemon to deal with. And since there's no Terra, you can't Terra Dark your Sweeper to ignore Prankster. You know?
Hmm. Yeah, for
Uh,
sure.
yeah,
Uh,
that's about it.
Okay, so then just for a couple of thoughts, I think your top tiers for sure are really really solid. Like Greninja is insanely busted with the ZA changes, getting Psyshock to hit any like special walls that want to switch in on it, especially pairing alongside its nasty plot now that it gets, so you're able to more reliably boost your special attack outside of the battle bond sets and not being forced to run like choice specs or even life orb as often is honestly pretty huge for Greninja. Victini I would say is a great breaker, especially on this like pseudo sun team that can be ran with like Prankster, Torn, Sunny Day. Does Sableye get Sunny Day too, Kenny, or
Oh
am I
yes, it
insane?
does.
Yeah.
Sableye gets, I believe, both Sunny Day and Rain Dance. I will double check if it gets Rain Dance, though it does.
Okay. Yeah. So having two prankster Sunny Day teams, I would say, is pretty solid, honestly. Um, for like this minor like sun mode to help like boost Victini up. Both Raging Bolt and Greninja get Weather Ball, so Fire type Weather Ball is pretty solid. Venusaur also gets Weather Ball, and it gets Chlorophyll pre Mega. I'm pretty sure even Leavanny gets uh, does it get chlorophyll? Yes, it does. It does get
Yes,
chlorophyll.
Leavanny does get Chlorophyll.
So you actually get a lot of value in terms of your like sun mode here. Um, it actually can pose a pretty decent a pretty decent threat overall, especially like even outside of sun. Like you still have your solid core options. Like you have Raging Bolt here, which is good even outside of sun. Victini, which is still going to be breaking things even when it's not spamming like sun boosted V creates. Iron Treads is a great spinner. I would say it's like number 3 in the format, like behind Terapagos and Great Tusk, I would
Uh,
say.
yeah, I'd agree with that.
Um,
Absolutely.
and then like of course Venusaur is a fat fuck. Tornadus, I would say like on its own, Tornadus isn't the best, but he does get some solid utility. And honestly, with the rest of your team being as offensive as it is, I think the utility is pretty just solid on its own. Uh, Sylveon is great value for you because Dragon and Fairy kind of like runs through you like pretty hard outside of like treads, of course, for like
Yeah,
fair dragons and like Venusaur for fairies.
it
So,
alleviates the pressure off of Iron Treads for sure. Like,
mhm.
I think the Iron Treads, Mega Venusaur, and Sylveon are a very good defensive core. And there's obviously other Pokemon that can like sneak in and like help out in a defensive manner. Like
Mhm.
you could like I threw an assault vest on my week 1 battle and Dugong completely walled Volcanion, which is a Pokemon that is a huge threat to almost everything else on my team. And it
Yeah.
was single-handedly shut down by one Dugong.
Yeah, which is really funny because Dugong honestly isn't like objectively, Dugong is not a great Pokemon, but on this team specifically, it's actually surprisingly decent. Like Mana Burn pointed out in the chat, something all great teams are weak to: ground and ice, aka Mamoswine. Dugong
Dugong
unironically switches in on Mamoswine Earthquake decently well with Max Fistef. So like it can just fill in the roles that it needs to, which I think is what a lot of your low tiers like offer you, is that they just have that one bit of utility that you need for like 1 or 2 weeks at a time, and then the rest of the time you just spam your top tiers.
This is a true 11-point draft. That's what I'll say.
Agreed.
Um,
Agreed.
Double is also the world's funniest Spectrier answer because Fluffy halves the power of Draining Kiss because it's technically a contact move, and obviously it's immune to Shadow Ball.
Hmm.
So that's why I have double. It is kind of a shitter normal type, and I could have something like Giraffe Rig there instead, but uh Doubles is kind of funny. I thought it would be a good. I thought it would be a funny Pokemon to bring.
I agree. Double is definitely a very silly guy to bring, but he does still do some things decently enough. Like,
That's a body press sweeper if you sleep on it. If you let it,
exactly.
I don't know. Like
Like,
it's not a good Pokemon, but it's able to show up to the weeks that it shows up at, and when it shows up, it will do what it needs to do.
exactly. Um, Overall, I would say, okay, so just going back to the tier list here, I would probably put I don't think S tier for now. I do think that for now, like low A tier is pretty fair. I'm kind of like on the fence between like low A, high B, because I do think objectively your team can do a lot of different things. It's just I don't know if like you have that one thing that your team does like insanely well that like puts you
I
up to
agree.
S. Um, and also I want to see where the rest of the teams lie before I start putting any like S tier teams or even high A tier teams. Kind of think
Oh
here for
yeah,
now is a good spot to start us off with.
I like this. This is good.
Okay. So then, all right, and then back to Zedok, and we're going to be moving on to our good buddy Legion's team. Le-
Boo.
It's funny because this is objectively not a Legion team.
This
uh,
is the. This is a very. Yeah, this is a very unusual team for someone like him to draft. It's like he's coming out of his new his chrysalis and he's like a little butterfly.
yes,
This is very weird, but
and the butterfly is drafting like me and Vinny.
and the butterfly is fucking insane at drafting the most fucked speed tiers you've ever seen, bro.
That is also
Um,
very true. Where can I see these fucked ass speed tiers?
so if you go to sort by and then you go to draft order,
Oh yeah, I see, I
right under
see.
Ivysaur.
Speed.
Sorry, I'm looking at your stream and it's stream delay, so I can't tell
I see.
when you actually find it.
Okay,
Um,
this is much better.
it's a Legion team is just like a certain like I don't really know how to describe a Legion team. It's like weird. It's just balance offense, or no,
It's
it's like a
balanced
bulky offense,
offense. Yeah, it's bulky offense while also having like some of his favorite Pokemon on it.
and
Like,
it always will have like a selection of the Pokemon he likes. You
yeah,
want to name them?
yeah. Some of the main key ones, Gouging Fire, Pecharunt, Dragapult is one of them.
You like
Um,
Sneasler a lot.
he does draft
No,
Sneasler
you
a
like
lot.
Sneasler a lot, so yeah, I don't think you can talk on that department.
He drafts Gliscor a decent amount, right? Or I just feel like that's a mon that he would like.
He does like Gliscor, and it's just weird to see him draft things that he has like never used in his life.
Yeah. But honestly, I
Uh,
do think that this is a pretty solid team. Um I do think that there are some pieces that are kind of a little like rough. Like overall, I think that of course Mega Delphox is just broken. Like every single week, all he has to do is just like set up uh for a Mega Delphox sweep and he just wins games. Um
Absolutely.
Kiram can even be a sleeper like backup sweeper as well. But outside of that, I don't think there is as much like star potential for like sweeps, weirdly enough. Like Thundersterian can definitely like put in some solid work, but on this team specifically, Blastoise is kind of forced to be brought with Rapid Spin most weeks. Not Delphox. The Decidueye, either that or Decidueye needs to come with Defog for his removal. And I do think that Thundurus kind of is forced to run heavy duty boots a lot of the time. And with like Delphox not being able to run boots, Kiram not really loving boots, like I do think that the team is a little hazard weak. Um, so I do think that removal is definitely on the side of that. But at the same time, like having dual screen support with Klefki, to support Delphox and Kirim and Thunderous and Keldeo, I do think it all can definitely work. I think it's just slotting on like what mons does he want to bring offensively while also having his like key defensive mons like Ting Lu, Overquill, Blastoise, Klefki. Like it's going to be hard to fit all the mons that he wants to do certain things with his offensive pieces.
My main issue is that there's no true like physical sweeper on his team that isn't a mixed attacker. Like the thing is that Kyurem can do both, but I feel like he should have like a dedicated Pokemon that will want to be a physical sweeper like for his team, and he just
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have that. Like being forced to be like, "Oh, I have to have like my second best special sweeper be my physical sweeper instead
Yeah.
because I don't have a real one is kind of rough. Like
Yeah.
I'm not saying that he's a bad physical sweeper. I just wish that he had one that's like dedicated like this is my physical guy, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like Ting
And
Lu just doesn't really cut it and that's his guy that like I'm sorry, Overquill's not cutting it here in the physical sweeper position. Like it has a high attack stat, but that's not what it does.
yeah,
I
for
I'm
sure.
not I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm just saying that that's not your like I'm just saying that shouldn't be your team's dedicated physical sweeper, you know? Like you
Yeah.
got to have something with a little more oomph. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not I agree with um I agree with the chat here. Sorry, I'm dyslexic and I couldn't read that name and it confused me.
Yeah. And I definitely agree too. Like SD Decidueye and SD like Overquill are definitely like threats, but kind of the thing that I would probably say the most is that you don't have a mon that is able to freely just have a choice band slapped onto it. Like
Yeah.
Kyurem, for example, like when it is being brought in its physical form, you almost always want loaded dice with it because icicle spear and scale shot you really hate getting two hits, so you kind of really need loaded dice on them. And take it from me, I am someone who does not like multi-hit moves without loaded dice, so you can't really run choice band Kirim for that reason. Decidueye, you can run choice band in a way, kind of same thing with Overquill, but at the same time it's like very situational. Like
There's no
okay, we found out that is caps lock, so
okay.
that's what Caps said. It's very
There's no
situational at
Victini
best.
equivalent. There's no Victini equivalent to this team. You know, there's nothing you can just be like, okay, I'm going to switch something in and it can just kill something immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Like it doesn't have there's no immediate threat like that on the physical side. Whereas obviously he has Mega Delphox where you switch in and you're either, oh, I'm gonna get melted by Fire Blast or this thing's nasty plotting in my face. Like
Agreed.
let's not get it twisted. This team is still pretty threatening. This team has very big threats, but I feel like the um I feel like the team just like is a little bit less threatening with the fact that there's no immediate physical pressure like
Yeah.
that it
I
exerts
I agree. And
from
like
the
you were saying
opponents.
with the speed tiers as well, you're kind of forced to be running Choice Scarf on a few things for sure. Cause like Mega Delphox is weak to Choice Scarfers, at least when it's not being ran with like modest agility, for example. But then you still need that turn to get an agility up in the first place. So like it still isn't exactly like loving Choice Scarfers. So I would definitely say Keldeo, Thunderous, even Kyurem. A lot of the time, it's very uh tough to be running like choice scarfers on this team, but at the same time you kind of need to. If I had to make any changes to this team, I would say maybe try to fix the speed tiers a little bit. I'm not sure exactly how you'd go about doing that, but maybe try to situate something. But at the very least, maybe swap out Keldeo for a physical attacker, like a physical attacking fighting type, for example. I
Absolutely. Like I don't know how much do we even have any Urshifus that are still on the board?
that I'm not 100% sure.
Like if you mess around with your points and you get like an Urshifu, bro, that's horrifying. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Yeah, like if you get like an Urshifu Rapid Strike, for example, on this team, but that is probably the biggest thing I would say. And looking at what Mataburn says, he says, I would more so be concerned about mid tiers being kind of shitty aside from Keldeo and Overquill. I kind of agree, but at the same time, it's like, what more can you really do? I would
I
say,
think
like,
I I think Klefki is a very underrated Pokemon. I will say that I think Klefki has the chance to shine if the thing is that Klefki has just a lot of moves. So if you use the right moves like at the right time, I feel like you can get a lot of value out of Klefki, you know?
mm-hmm. And also,
Um,
Caps Lock mentioned before, Klefki does get Prankster Defog, so that is a potential thing as well. I would probably say the biggest thing on this team that I would probably change would maybe be Decidueye. Like maybe get trade out Decidueye for a better speed tier. Like for example, I was gonna say Electrode Hisui, but probably not. And plus, I think it
um,
was already taken. But maybe just like even a 110s like grass type or ghost type, for example, I think would offer a lot of value here.
like I don't know. I'm seeing that there's like a. Wait, let me look at just see real quick.
Um,
Um,
and then Caps mentioned Terrakion. I do think that Terrakion would actually be pretty decent. Uh, Caps is right. Terrakion is a bit of a fraud when it terms of its attacking stat. But at the same time, I do think that is still definitely worth it to have that over Keldeo. Because even though Keldeo may be better in more scenarios, like in a general sense, I think it would me- it would mesh much better on this team the way that it's built so far. I think that behind screens, Terrakion could be a really threatening SD sweeper, or it would
mhm.
be a really good potential weakness policy mon because it is still fairly bulky, I would say. So I would probably say that Terrakion replacing Keldeo would be pretty decent,
Yeah, I agree with that.
and then like maybe replacing Decidueye with a different faster grass type, because like Patty just mentioned as well, the team is still fairly ground weak outside of Thunderous Therian, so maybe getting like still like a grass type but just
Like a
like a faster
Sceptile or
one.
Superior. I don't know how much Superior is, but like
Yeah.
Superior has Defog. That's like not a bad Pokemon at all.
For sure. But I do think that overall, I would probably just to go back over to the tier list here. I would probably rank him in like high B for right
I'd
now.
put him in B. I'd put him in B for sure.
Maybe bump him up for Mega Delphox tax later down the line, but for now, I think
Mhm.
B is a pretty solid spot to put him overall.
Um, I also think that it's worth getting rid of Ivysaur and just putting like a normal type on there because let's be honest, Ivysaur is not really contributing to your team at all.
Yeah, I definitely agree to that, especially since I imagine there's still some whatever they're called, some sticky webbers still available, and I think this team could be
Dude,
insanely scary with like just low tier sticky web support.
you can get like a bug type for a better ground matchup. I think that's good because um like superior or not superior. I don't know why I said superior because I was thinking of that's what it should be replaced with. Decidueye like don't don't get it twisted. It is a grass type, so it could live an earthquake, but it can't really like I don't think that's a good designated like ground like resist for a team. You
Mm-hmm.
know? Like maybe I think having a bug type that could maybe like alleviate a little bit of that pressure off as well, like would be pretty decent.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Swapping out Ivysaur for like a Dewpider or something, and then swapping Keldeo out either for like a Terrakion to keep like at least some semblance of speed tiers, or even just like I saw this mentioned in the chat, like Slitherwing is a pretty decent mon, especially since like you get the potential for like banded like first impressions. For since like priority is pretty decent here to kind of like sort of help with the speed tiers a little bit. And then like you were mentioning, potentially Superior instead of Decidueye. I do think that this team is definitely it can definitely be made much better while still being pretty solid the way it is right now, for sure. Um, but yeah, now that we've ranked Legion at top of B for the time being, we're gonna be moving on to Caps's team. Caps has been in the chat so far, and I would probably say for right now, Caps is a pretty scary team.
This
Uh,
team is very scary, and I only have one issue with this team, and it's that there is no electric or fire type. It's not a huge gripe, but it's just like I just am not huge on it for that
yeah.
reason.
Yeah, I can
Um,
definitely somewhat agree to that for sure, especially since I do feel like that this team does kind of have a good amount of like it's a pretty big
type
weak.
overlap.
Yeah, a lot of type overlap is kind of what I was trying to get at. And a couple of mons are definitely kind of fraudulent. It's like I'm not a big fan of Mega Gallade. I think Mega Metacham is significantly better now this generation. That's just how I am. I know we ranked them at the same point total, but I definitely think Mega Medi is definitely significantly better. Starmie didn't really get too much outside of its physical move pool for the Mega variant. Togetic is kind of a weird low tier. Like it's still pretty decent as like a cleric or support mon. Snow doesn't really help the team too much outside of like just general Aurora Veil stuff, but at the same
Mhm.
time it's like it's not really that great. Pori 2 is decent, but it does kind of have some
I feel like it.
issues.
I feel like it suffers. I feel like Porygon 2 suffers from being on a sand team
Mhm.
because of Sandstorm Chip.
Yeah,
I do think that the team's sand mode is pretty decent. It just
agreed.
sucks that you're more like you're more important like pieces on your team. Where I feel like Porygon 2 is important, where it's like a defensive glue in a way that can like soak up moves that Gliscor would be weak to.
Yeah.
Kind of similar to like Tinkaton, but I feel like Porygon 2 is better at that. And Dragapult does not want to be taking Sandstorm chip at all. Like no, bro. We don't want chip damage on that guy. And I'm not saying like safety goggles isn't a viable item to be ran on Dragapult, because honestly, I look at this team and I'm honestly not even like I wouldn't even judge, because that's like Spore immunity too. There's like a
Yeah,
Moongus on the team, you know?
for
You just
sure.
run sand, you got a safety goggles, and you run like D-Dance or whatever. But like this team is still good. I feel like but I just feel like the weather can be kind of a detriment as well as a benefit. Like it goes both ways.
Mhm. I definitely agree. I would probably say I would almost rather you go a little bit further into like the potential of having a sun mode because I think right now, but
Do you mean
um,
sand?
yeah, sand. That's what I meant.
You said sun.
I meant to say sand. Sorry. I would probably say that right now a lot of your offense is kind of getting carried by Pult, Mega Medi, and I guess like T-Tar as well. But T-Tar does kind of like being the more bulky. Some weeks. Nidoking definitely can be, but at the same time, it is fairly slow, so you're kind of getting revenge killed pretty easily. It's hard to switch in on it, don't get me wrong, but if your opponent does manage to switch in on you, then you're kind of in a weird position where you don't really want to switch and give them the tempo, but at the same time, you can't really like afford to take a hit. I would probably say what I would do is I would almost kind of like what Mana said earlier. Tinkaton is decent, but I do think it isn't the best here. I would almost drop Tinkaton and Nidoking, and I would get like an Excadrill here, potentially.
I believe Excadrill has been taken already.
Okay, if Excadrill
But
has already been taken,
I
then I
honestly think Tinkaton is a very important piece to this team.
mm,
I would argue that I would keep Tinkaton, but maybe drop Nidoking and like Starmie, Togetic, and Abomasnow, because I don't know. I like actually. I kind of like Starmie actually. But I feel like this team could be made better. I don't think it's in a bad spot, but I just feel like there's not an insane amount of synergy here. I like the team.
Yes,
I
that's
I just
probably
think
what
it
I'd
could be
say.
better. I like the team. I just think it could be better, but it doesn't mean it's bad.
Yeah, it's kind of how I'm got kind of getting at it too. Maybe I would say like I do like Tink, but I kind of just like the idea of going a little bit more offensive. Like Tink objectively is solid. Don't get me wrong.
Cap said he only wanted D-Dark because it was the best dark type left.
Honestly, fair. That's pretty fair. I can't even blame you there. I think Drill is honestly in a pretty decent position in that Dex right now. Now that it gets agility, because you don't even need T-Tar anymore. Like you can still have it with T-Tar, but then you can almost bring it with the offensive sets with just plain old agility instead, and you can still do other things as well. But overall, I think the team is still fairly good. I do think that Caps will be able to pilot it very well. Objectively, Caps is probably one of the best players in the league. So I do think that he will put in some great work with it. Though I do think, like, just on an objective standpoint, I would probably put it like behind Legions in B. I could even see an argument for top of C, but I think behind Legion and
I
bot
would put
and
it
lower
in.
B is fine.
I would put it in B. I don't think I'm comfortable putting this team with like. I really like the top four a lot, and I
Hmm.
really like Araquanid on this team. I really like Porygon too. There's I think there and like Tyranitar, you can't go wrong with having a Tyranitar. I think there are 7 good Pokemon on this team, and you can't really go wrong with that. I feel like Starmie is okay, and the other three are just kind of eh. But um, I do still think it's a very good.
Hmm. I think I think it's like you said before. It objectively has some really good mons on the team, but I do think that those good mons don't exactly synergize as well with each other. I think that makes sense.
I can agree with that.
Yeah. But for now, let's just go on to the next one here. Um Manaburn says, I support Cap Squad. I thought all Pult teams were at least A tier. Fair. Very fair. But I do think that there are some other Mons that are objectively more insane to be allowed here. Like Legion having Mega Delphox for one, I would probably say that's a little insane. But yes, regardless, I think lower B tier is fair. And now let's move on to Stars' team.
The
What do you
guy who
think
took
here?
Excadrill. Um,
Oh yeah,
I think
now we found the Excadrill guy.
so. I think that this team is actually pretty good. I think that um I think that you cannot go wrong with having Iron Valiant and Torrentee on your team, and then an Excadrill with Sand. You
Hmm.
just can't go wrong with having that. Um, you have 3 very threatening Pokemon, and Hisuian Samurott is obviously. It's not like I'm not saying it isn't threatening, but it's more so you use this to set up spikes, and it can do sweeping potential, but that's not like usually the goal.
Hmm.
But you have 4 very good Pokemon to make up the core, which is um, Val, Torntea, Samurott, and Excadrill.
Oh
I
wait,
do.
does he have regular Chestnut or is it Mega
That's
Chestnut?
Mega Chestnut. Wait, is that not?
Let me double check.
I'm pretty sure that's Mega Chestnut.
Oh, on he
Oh,
on the
that's
docket is
regular
regular
Chestnut.
Chestnut. All right,
Oh,
there we go. We have fixed
I
it. Thanks, Stars.
my bad.
You can tell how much we prepared for this.
That will be the only error on the document. Promise.
Poor miss.
Um,
Okay, so yeah, sorry to
I
interrupt.
do.
Where were you?
I'm not gonna lie, I completely lost my train of thought.
I can't even blame you. I'll give kind of my thoughts on the team. I think objectively you have some pretty strong pieces. Iron Valiant for one is really solid. Torn T I think is a he's weird. I think that the fact that you have to rely on Hurricane and even Bleak Wind for your stab attacks is definitely very unreliable. But he is objectively a pretty solid support mon. It being so expensive is kind of for support mon is kind of interesting. But overall, I think that it definitely can put in some pretty solid work. Hisui Samu, I love this guy. Best spike setter in the game. Kind of the best option for like spike stacking that there is. Um, and I think that even outside of stacking spikes, you can still put in some really solid work with SD sets and even like choice band sets. Like you're still chunking even your resists because of sharpness. Drill offers pretty solid removal, especially when you have sand with Gigalith for a potential sand mode down the line. I do think that Gigalith is cheap enough to where like it's just an additional thing to add a little bit more to the team. Like if Drill really goes in 1 week, now it doesn't have to use agility and it can just do that one thing. It's definitely a really like interesting team. The biggest issues that I personally see with it, its bulk is pretty solid with Slowbro and Chestnut, but there isn't really a great Spadef wall outside of like Gigalith and like Dunsparce. But then
Oh,
you're having to bring Gigalith to set up sand, and
yeah.
the rest of your team doesn't really appreciate that. And Dunsparce, while it's a decent Spadef wall, if it gets knocked off, it kind of loses a lot of that. Um, I will say though, like Blacephalon is great. I think that's a really good special breaker, especially since like you have decent physical breakers with Excadrill and Samu. Biggest issue is Megascolipede. This thing is not good. Um, like, sure you
Yeah,
get
yeah, the Scolipede. Wow.
it's just like you get pre mega speed boost for one. But then like you still need at minimum two boosts to actually be outspeeding things, and even then you're not outspeeding choice scarfers. And your bulk is fairly strong actually, like 149 defense, 99 speed. Like that's pretty decent, but you're still never leaving home without your sword stance. You're weak to rocks and you can't hold boots. So it's really hard for you to be able to like click SD, have protect, and then have all the moves that you need to actually do a sweep. I do think that that's kind of the biggest issue for him. I think if you really get it going, it can be really threatening, but you're really like held in pretty tight by like four move slot syndrome. And Patty also mentioned before that that Go spam is pretty solid into this team. I do think that Chestnut being able to switch into Shadow Ball and then AV Samu and Dunsparce do kind of help out against those few weeks that you're fighting a ghost type like Dragapult or Spectre or whatever. Um, but yeah, for sure, I definitely say that is kind of a big issue for the team. I would say.
I would say that not having a designated special defensive Pokemon and having Torn T and Slowbro, which are your Regenerator Core, both being weak to Electric, is pretty bad.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you do have things that can switch in on electric moves. I am personally not a big fan of Excadrill being like the only ground type Pokemon on a team, but because the thing is that it's kind of a frailer guy. It doesn't like to get predicted and then like get hit by coverage. Like this thing's gonna take like 60 from a heat wave, you know,
Mm-hmm.
like a non-stab heat wave. Like it's not gonna appreciate that kind of stuff. I do think that Excadrill is a very good Pokemon, but it's not a kind of Pokemon that you can afford to like switch in on electric type moves, you know?
Yeah.
But Gigalith can do it all right, and Chestnut obviously is a pretty bulky grass type, so that's very good for it. Uh, so like obviously there is issues with the team, but um, there's patches that have been uh put on the team. Like there's not it's not like an ignored issue. Like there are things that help repel the issue, but there's just like slight issues that hold it back, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And I see people mentioning this as well. Slowbro does get teleport here, so it still can pivot pretty well. And it's pretty solid like over Slowking in the sense that like you can more easily run your sand mode cuz then you're not getting rid of your sand, and then also like it's just kind of the issue is like Slowbro is such a good like physical wall that now you're kind of forced to be running either the assault vest set or a more Spadef Slowbro, which is still like pretty decent, but I do think that Slow King would fit in a little bit better. But yeah, I will say like it being a little bit more expensive is definitely uh, is kind of the issues that you can't really fit it in that well. Um, Overall, Stars mentioned this at the start. I do think though that it is objectively like an A tier. I
Yeah,
would
you can't have a bad team like with these four Pokemon. I really don't.
Yeah, for sure. I do think that here having him right behind your team, I personally just like your team a little bit better. I think that the offense is a little bit more like precise, I would say. Like overall, just like bring it back to the dock here.
I don't
Um,
know if I don't know if Stars was looking at this Pokemon, but it needed Hydrapple so bad, and it said that it got sniped from it.
oh yeah.
This
Yeah.
team needed Hydrapple, bro.
I can definitely get that. Hydra Apple is pretty solid here. It's a really good ground switch in for the team. And then also like it's a great assault vest user. Like it adds a lot of bulk here. Like having Dragapult instead of Chestnut, I think would be incredibly good. Um,
Did you say Dragapult instead of Chestnut, brother?
oh, I meant to say Hydra Apple. Uh, you
I
get what I meant. You get what I meant.
think I would also like a Dragapult. Please?
But yeah, that's kind of like the main thing that I would say. Just a little weak to special attacks. Gonna be kind of forced to run AV a lot of the time. But I will objectively say Valiant Torn T with like spike support from Hisui Samurott, removal support with Excadrill, as well as being able to be ran in a sand mode with Gigalith. I think that it's kind of hard to go wrong with this team, especially since Blacephalon with a Choice Scarf can just like absolutely nuke things.
Also his hazards, like he has a great hazard game and his hazard removal. Right before we move on, his hazard removal is only 2, but similar to mine. Funnily enough, both of ours are Tornadoses.
Yeah,
But he has 2 very good hazard removers, so I feel like he can get away with only having 2. You know?
I agree, especially since I don't think his team is super weak to rock. Like I do think that that Torn is kind of going to be forced to be ran boots a lot of the time, and Scolipede being weak to rocks is also not ideal. But the only other thing that's weak to rocks on the team is Blacephalon, which you're super frail as is. So losing that 25% really isn't the biggest deal in the world. Like you're going to be coming in, take your 25% on your choice scarf set and either revenge kill something and get a boost or do a shit ton of damage and swap out
You
anyways. Like
you say Choice Scarf on what Pokemon?
a Blacephalon.
Oh yeah.
That's what I'm trying to get at. Like it's kind of like almost a Cinderace where like yeah, you're weak to rocks, but like on the choice scarf sets, like you're still gonna be like chunking a lot of things, like, and you're gonna be able to switch in fairly reliably to Excadrill. So I do think that that's just fine.
Hmm.
Okay. And then that's enough with Star's team. I do think that objectively it is very strong, but it just has a couple of things holding it back. Let's move on to Craze's team. I don't know what to think about this.
Hold on, wait. I need to. I was just watching your stream for a little bit, and then I remembered there's a delay. I was like, why didn't it go immediately? Um, that's funny that we keep on segueing. This is the team that took that Hydrapple that Victory Stars' team so desperately would have loved to have. But I think that this team is very it's very it's
Weird.
very bad when it comes to speed tiers.
Oh
I'm gonna
yeah.
be very honest. You are going from 150 to 105 to 95.
Mm-hmm.
It is very, very rough. There's going to be a lot of Pokemon that are within the like 100, like 115 to like anything under 150 speed range that is just going to have a field day running attack boosting natures. I don't think it's exactly 115. I think it's probably like 118 or higher or whatever.
Yeah.
But um a lot of those like decently fast Pokemon, or I'll say pretty fast. All those pretty fast Pokemon that I'm talking like your Weaviles, your Cinderaces, your Greninjas. These Pokemon are just gonna get away with running modest or adamant natures and absolutely shredding through a whole team.
Yeah.
Like because I feel like this team doesn't really have very many designated defensive like pieces that synergize very well with each other.
Yeah.
I think that Chansey and Goldango is good. I like Primarina. Primarina and Goldango are good, but um, I feel like Hydrapple can't really be the glue that keeps this team together for this team
Yeah.
because it's also like I don't I don't know. I'm not very huge on this team. I don't really like that there is like a absolutely huge electric weakness outside of Hydrapple.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there isn't really any Pokemon on the team other than Hydrapple that can switch in on a physical electric type move.
To be fair, physical electric types are pretty few and far between, but I do get the sentiment for sure. I would say my biggest issues with the team, like we already mentioned the speed tiers, like Mega Aerodactyl and Espathra, like they're kind of fake speed tiers. Mega Aerodactyl's outspeeding everything that's not scarfed anyways, so like why and even then like if you're running a scarfer, then you're almost guaranteed to be able to outspeed it anyways in that sense. And Glim is you're not Glim, Espathra. Um, it was already mentioned in the chat, but Espathra, you're never speed creeping it. Like it's a fake speed tier because it's always going to be boosted because of speed boost, and it does kind of just get walled by a lot of dark types, especially steel types actually. Which I do think that this team has a really big issue of handling. Like Arcanine is pretty decent into steel types, and so is Hariyama. But outside of those two specifically, steel types kind of just sit on this team. Like it walls Hydrapple. Mega Arrow is solid against it. Like if you have EQ and you're already boosted. But even then, like something like for example a Registeel, you're still not two-shotting a physically defensive Registeel at
Bro,
+1.
this
Like
team hates Testo, Resto, Curse, Registeel. Like yo,
yes.
like, obviously like Goldango like is decent on it, but like Heavy Slam, Body Press, Curse, Rest, Registeel, bro.
Mhm.
Ah, it's over.
Yeah, exactly. And also like it's it's bulky, but at the same time it's not like bulky enough almost. Like it's super bulky offense like Moltres Galar,
Wait,
Hariyama, Arcanine, Hydrapple, Primarina, Goldingo.
hold that thought.
Yes.
This team does not have a ground type.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, there's no ground type on this team. That's
There is, um, I And I also want to say that the only hazard removal is Defog, Mega Aerodactyl, and Mortal Spin Glamora.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying Glamora is a bad remover, but you essentially only have one removal because I'm sorry, you're almost never running Defog on that Mega Arrow, bro. I'm being
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah, like you can, but also like your remover being weak to rocks itself is also not the best. And you
You
can't hold
can, but you're
boots.
not in. You can run Defog, but you're not enjoying running Defog. You're not liking it.
Mm-hmm.
You're not
Uh
liking running Defog Mega Aerodactyl. You're doing it with a frown on your face.
yes. And this team also really, really hates like breaking things. Like, don't get me wrong, Golden Go is a decent enough breaker, and like Mega Arrow can do it fairly decently. But at the same time, they aren't like just come in and break and then like swap out. Like
I will say.
Golden Go is the only mon on this team that actually likes running a choice item. Nothing else on this team actively enjoys running a choice item. Hydrapple can, but like you're so weak to so many different types as is that you don't really want to be running choice specs because fairies switch in on you, steals switch in on you super easily. You would much rather be running like an eject pack or even like boots yourself, something along those lines.
I
Arcanine
I would actually
doesn't.
disagree. I actually disagree. I think you could run Choice Scarf for Specs Primarina here
Mm,
on this team, like a decent amount. I do
potentially,
think
yeah.
that what this team does do good is there's a reason why people hate Espathra and Goldango and Glamora, and it's because at the start of Scarlet and Violet, those three were used to terrorize the metagame. I do think those three do have inherent value of being on the same team together.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think this team is pretty good at breaking steel types for Galarian Moltres. Those are two things that
Yeah.
I will say that this team does very good.
Yes,
But
I can agree with that. I can agree with that. But at the same time, I also think it's not the best at breaking steel types. I think it can, but I think it's not exactly the
I think it's
best.
decent at it. You have. Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with Caps. In the chat, he's saying Specs Hydrapple's a good set, but he doesn't think it works on the team, and I agree. I don't think
Yes.
it's a bad set overall, but I don't think this team can afford to have Specs Hydrapple.
Yes, that's definitely very very true. Overall, I do think that this team oh, whoops, I didn't swap, but whatever. I one second. There we go. per Excellent streamer here. I do think that overall, I think this is like the D tier. I do think that this is kind of uh the one D tier here. I struggle to see any other team that is worse than this. I do think that they can definitely make it work. Like it's not a team that doesn't have its solid points. Like it can definitely do some work sometimes. I just think its weaknesses are so prevalent that it'll be really tough to use effectively each given week, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of holes that aren't patched in this team that could absolutely be patched.
Mm-hmm.
I think that with a little bit of working around and like transactions, you could absolutely make a team that performs a lot better. And I'm not saying and this is to say that if your team is in D tier or C tier and isn't in B, A, or S, that doesn't mean we don't think your team will ever get wins. We just are saying that we find that there are a lot of issues with the team that it's going to be difficult. Like the speed tiers are a huge issue that I think that if your team had a ground type, had like all of the other issues we were talking about, but still had the issues with those speed tiers, I would personally still put it in C because not you're getting outsped by such a drastic degree on Pokemon like Weavile. That like a Life Orb Adamant Weavile with Swords Dance, that's like literally destroying your whole team.
Mm-hmm. Especially since, for example, the Mega Arrow, for one, it just
Like
gets ice
I,
sharded. Like,
I'll say Hariyama is actually never mind, bro. Psycho cut.
yeah, it does get Psycho Cut, and it also gets Poison Jab too. So,
It's
uh,
like a choice between stabs, obviously, but you know, um, there's a lot of Pokemon that can just do tricks on this team because they're so fast.
mm-hmm,
And I think the second that issue is patched, and like if it's a fast Pokemon that has actual offensive presence, like obviously I'm not saying I and I know this Pokemon's already taken, so I'm just using it as like a filler example. Like a Whimsicott could not really fill in that slot because it's not like a scary offensive Pokemon, you know?
mm-hmm,
Like it doesn't really have that punch that makes Pokemon scared of it.
yeah,
Like obviously it's a really good support Pokemon, but that's not like a thing that can like it needs to be like I know this Pokemon's also taken, but like a Starmie, like a Pokemon that is more offensively threatening to you're like, whoa, I can't just not speed creep that and be okay, you know?
mm-hmm, for sure. Um, because then that also, like, for example, because your team is more like bulky offense, its bulk is being undercut by the fact that no one is respecting your speed tiers, because your bulk becomes less effective when when the opposing team has no reason to not bring attack boosting natures, or their own defense boosting natures for that matter too, on their bulkymons. Like, they aren't going to be respecting your faster offense, so they're just not going to care about running those speed boosting natures, which really undercuts a lot of the offensive potential of the team.
I agree.
Okay, and then moving on, we have a Final Crusaders team.
Holy fire, water, grass core.
That is a firewater grass core of all time. That is for sure.
I think if there were to be a fire, water, grass core to rule them all, this is certainly it.
Yes, the firewater grass core of all time. Palafin, Chi-Yu, and Chikorita.
Type shit, dude. Oh my god. You know, me and you, we're on the same wavelength. I was thinking that exact same thing.
For sure. Um Overall, my thoughts, of course, Chikorita is hilarious. Like, I do
I
think that
think
you
it's
could.
just a mascot pick, so I'm not gonna judge, you know?
Yeah, I'm not going to judge it. I think there are other more valuable mons that you could pick up for 1 point. We do tend to keep some mons in the 1 point tier that probably could be 2, but I do kind of like the idea of just picking your mascot pick. That is a big baller move, so I can't really hate on that. But Palafin, Chi-Yu, Rillaboom, Donphan, Rotom Heat, Mega Drag, um, Porizi, Gardevoir, and Mega Pinsir. I already see Patty mention this in the chat. Really strong priority team, spam team. Like,
Absolute.
between Jet
Um,
Punch, Grassy Glide, Ice Shard on Donphan, and Quick Attack on Mega Pinsir, I do think that this is pretty insane. I can't lie. In terms of just like priority spam, at least.
I have a
Defensively,
couple of big issues with this team defensively.
yes, 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 yes. Let's
Um,
hear it. Let's hear it.
so first of all, this team does not have a steel type.
Yes.
Second of all, this team does not have a ghost type. So you cannot at all block rapid spin any way, shape, or form. You
Mm.
just will get rapid spun on for free. I will say your your hazard game is okay. I do think that Mega Pinsir, despite being a very strong offensive Pokemon, is scary enough with 3 moves to where it can just get away with running Stealth Rock sometimes. Like you have Sword Stance, you have Quick Attack, and you have Return. sometimes you just don't even need the bug type move, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Or instead of return, it's like double edge or something. Sometimes you can just be like, oh yeah, I'll put stealth rock on, and you can just do that.
Yeah,
But I think that Toxic Spike's Mega Dragalge, I think this is gonna be an obnoxious ass T Spike setter. Uh, if this like doesn't get taunted, that is a free two layer Toxic Spikes every game that it goes to and has Toxic Spikes on.
for sure.
This
Uh,
Pokemon is a bulky menace.
hmm I do think that after seeing a couple of like things in the chat, Ash Ice mentioned this. A D-Dancing Dragon is going to have a lot of fun against this team, they said. I definitely really agree here, actually. I do think that a Mega Pinsir can definitely help against a D-Dancing not Mega, a D-Dancing Dragon just because of priority quick attack, being able to hit it for pretty solid damage with quick attack, like boosted by aerial late, but you're not going to be threatening at if it's at full HP. And same sort of deal with Ice Shard on Donphan, honestly. And you're going to be able to pretty reliably get up an SD, not an SD, a DD on things like a Palafin, for example, who's like choice locked into Jet Punch or something, or a Rillaboom choice locked into Grassy Glide, or even on just like a Rotom Heat, for example. But then you're worried about Will-O-Wisp. So there's definitely ways to play around it for sure. But I do think that it definitely is something to be pretty worried about. I would probably say the biggest issue I have with this team is it's kind of been a trend, the speed. Fastest mon being 105 on Mega Pinsir is really rough.
It is not good. I will say that uh, I do think that this team has a lot of issues defensively.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly that Chi-Yu is the only Dark Resist on the team, and Rotom Heat is the only Pokemon on the whole team that is resistant to Fairy and Flying. So it has a lot of pressure on its back
Yeah.
to um has a lot of pressure on its back to fill those defensive like holes. Dude, this team against an Iron Valiant is crying.
Yeah.
Iron Valiant is going to run a fucking train through this team. If the second that Dragalge is like weakened a little bit, uh Iron Valiant comes in, sets up one Calm Mind, just fucking destroys everything.
Yeah, and even that on those times, like if this thing is weakened even a little bit, Calm Mind Iron Valiant gets Psyshock. So like,
Literally. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like that Dragalge gets down to 70. If it's not max HP, max biz def, you die to Psyshock, bro.
mm-hmm.
I'm willing to bet.
Yeah, I
Because the thing
definitely
is, he doesn't really need to be booster speed against this team. He could run Life Orb. He can easily run Life Orb.
uh
He is in Victory Stars,
yes.
who has Iron Valiant, could easily run Life Orb and just tear this team apart. Obviously, he has to worry about Jet Punch and Grassy Glide. So, like to an extent, this is true. But like Iron Valiant is a huge threat to this team.
Mm-hmm.
So, like really fast Pokemon like that, um, I would argue less so Pokemon like that are frail, like the Protean starters. I don't think that would really do a very good job.
Yeah.
Specifically because their Fire, Water, Grass core. I'm not huge on like being like, yeah, you should have a Fire, Water, and Grass type on every team because it's the core. But specifically because of this Fire, Water, Grass core, it's like a specific repellent to the Protean starters in a funny way.
Yeah. I can definitely agree to that. And I also saw, I can't remember who mentioned this in the chat. I think it was Patty. Donphan is going to be having a lot of is going to have a lot of big shoes to fill, let's just say, because it is his only, like, well, not only removal. I think Rotom Heat also gets like defog, but the team is
It does.
incredibly
Yeah.
like hazard weak. Like being having four weaknesses, or not 4, but like having a 4 times weakness to rocks with pincer, having the rock weakness on Chi Yu, the rock weakness to on Rotom Heat, and then nothing else, being like really able to switch in reliably against rock types. Like Donphan is your only rock resist. So every single one of these mons is going to be taking a lot of damage from Stealth Rock each turn. And even like, for example, for ground, like spikes are going to be pretty rough for this team as well. Like the Hisui and Samurott team with like stars, for example, Rotom Heat isn't going to be loving switching in on a
Ceaseless Edge.
yeah, a ceaseless edge.
Because
And
then
then
he's just getting Aqua Cuttered next turn or Razor Shelled and then dies.
yeah,
Because he's taking
exactly.
like 30 from that Ceaseless at
Mm-hmm.
least.
For sure. And then like the 105 speed, you're getting outsped and like hit by like boost, like attack boosting natured attacks super easily. Like sure, the priority spam, but at the same time then it's just making the issue even worse in the sense that they're not going to be respecting any of your speed tiers then. Like they're just all going to be running like plus defense or plus attack natures on just about everything, and it's gonna be really, really
You know what
hard to switch
Pokemon,
in.
funnily enough, would like dismantle this team?
What?
Ogre Pond Cornerstone.
Honestly, yeah.
Ogre Pond Cornerstone, like alone, could absolutely like kill like 6 of these Pokemon on its
Hmm.
own.
Yeah, definitely agreed. And like you mentioned before with like the defensive utility, just for like the ranking's sake, I think looking up at this right now, I would probably put
I would put this in a C tier.
yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. I think your offensive potential with the priority spam is enough to keep it out of D tier
Yeah.
and just above the Cleveland Cavaliers. But I think that besides that, I think there are just a few weaknesses like the speed tiers, and a couple of like the typing, like the defensive typing issues that just overall makes it a little bit difficult. And I see some
Yeah.
discussion on Booster Val. I'm 100% in agreement with the Booster Val is a bit of a fraud allegations, but like Life Orb is still insane.
Yeah, no, Life Orb Valiant.
Um,
Um, Caps, if he rings Rillaboom, then you can run Grassy Glide. So you can go faster than Jet Punch and Grassy Glide him.
True, you can do that.
That's what I was thinking.
And now we're going to be moving on to Phoenix's team. Now we see someone besides Caps Lock using Mega Alakazam. And then we also have the exact opposite issue that we've had with the past few teams. This team is all speed, all
This
of the
team
speed.
this team is every single wait, hold on. There we go. We're there now. Holy shit. Wow. And honestly, like, I don't even hate the lower speed tiers. You've made it so essentially everything faster than, uh, like, all of your Pokemon that matter cannot afford to run speed boosting natures on you, except for maybe Quaquaval.
Hmm.
Maybe Quaquaval. I'm not sure. But, like, I I didn't even realize that Ogerpon Cornerstone got drafted, to be honest. It was really funny that I was talking specifically about Ogerpon Cornerstone and then this happened. Um, I will say my biggest issue with this team is what happens when Spectrier appears?
You outspeed it with Mega Alakazam and murder it dead with Psyshock.
I honestly think you can get away with running Scarf Spectrier into this team.
I could maybe see it, but that's what the Munchlax is for, of course.
Okay, you know what? I'll give you that. I'll give you that. Munchlax. I honestly like. My brain didn't even register Munchlax because it was all the way at the bottom. You know what? Munchlax I think works as a sufficient Spectre counter. You're right.
Yeah, and even then, I do think that AV Fez is able to do pretty decently. Like, sure, you're kind of afraid of Psyshock, or even like a Spadef Celesteela, I think is solid. Because I'm sure you can EV it to get like a SPDEF beast boost, for example. And your Spectre isn't exactly going to be loving like heavy slams uh, from this thing. So I do think that overall it has some pretty solid options for like
Okay.
scarf sets for sure. Um, and then outside of scarf sets, I think you just like demolish it with like Zero Aura, Mega Alakazam, or even like Scarf Cinderace, like
Actually,
that sort
is
of thing.
Spectre your drafted? Oh, somebody does have Spectre. Do they have sticky webs on their team? No, they don't. Oh, that's Mana Burn. Hi,
Interesting.
Mana Burn.
And it
Hello,
is
Mario.
and it is funny to see webs with Cricketune as well, just to like really shit on those scarfers that want to be outspeeding Mega Alakazam and Zero Aura as well. I think you got the speed on lock, and I do kind of like the rest of the team. Like Celesteela is pretty solid. I like the autonomized sets being able to pretty much nullify that like slow mon. I think your bulk is really solid with aforementioned Celesteela and
Um,
Pheasantipity being pretty solid. Zydog is kind of mid overall, but that's kind of like the only mid mon on the team, I would say, for what you want it for. Like Munchlax, it's a one
uh,
pointer. It's your
it
ghost
counters
switch in.
Spectre.
It's
Yeah, it's your ghost guy.
it's your ghost guy. Like it's going to do its thing. It's only going to come to one game, but it's going to do it well. Cricketune is for like the games where you're particularly afraid of a certain like Scarfer, for example, with the webs and stuff, and also to just like help against like opposing webs because that's kind of the one thing I would say about this team is that
It's
Quaquaval being your removal is not the best because like Quack doesn't love being a remover. It likes to be offensive. Sure, it can spin, but it's like Starmie in the sense that it doesn't want to always be your spinner.
but it will be your spinner, but it doesn't appreciate it.
Yeah, exactly. Funnily enough, I think that AV Quack is probably going to be the best set for them this season, just because it's going to be like still able to do its like moxie thing while also offering the bulky support that you really want from the spinner on your team as well.
I'd
um
agree if they had a wish user. I feel like a roost set might be a little bit
True. i
more usable, but I
i,
I
I
do
can
think that
agree
AV.
both
I
sets would
don't
be
think that
pretty
AV.
good.
That's not to say that AV's bad. I just feel like uh Quaquaval. Um, hold on, I'm reading the chat. Holy shit, that Fizandipity is fat. Not even a two-hit KO. That's barely over a third. That's
That's
crazy, bro.
insane. But yeah, I it definitely can be a pretty decent spec answer. It's not the best answer, of course, but I mean it can definitely do pretty solid work. I also don't know if Spectrier gets whatever it's called, Psyshock. But if it gets Psyshock, then that kind of like forces it into a weird position where if it has Psychic versus like it being specially defensive versus physically defensive, like it can be a little weird. And then Patty
Um,
mentioned as well with like removal with Cinderace as well. I did forget about court change. I do think that it's going to stop hazards a little bit, but I do think that this team is just not that hazard weak just to start off. Like you only have
uh,
one mon that's even weak to hazards in the first place, like one
I
real
think
mon
it
at least.
sucks. I
But
think it sucks that you don't have Stealth Rock on your team at all, though.
oh yeah, no rocks. Mm, yeah, that
Because for some reason Zygarde doesn't have rocks. I could have swore it did, but I guess it don't.
Yeah, that is a little on the weird side. I guess I would probably say then in that case, your speed is already so good, honestly, and you don't really even need a dragon type. I think that the one thing I would probably do to make this team a little better is maybe drop Zygarde and pick up a ground type that gets Stealth Rock instead. Um, because I think
Yo,
you can
honestly,
afford
like low key, how much Hippowdon cost?
uh I
That's
don't
that's
know.
for your Ogerpon, for your Celesteela.
Yeah, I
You
could
got
see that.
Magic Guard Alakazam. That's
I
kind of nice.
I do think that Zygog
Which
Zydog is
Volk?
cheaper though, but
Volcarona or Volcanion?
I think he's talking about Volcanion, but I could be
Uh,
wrong.
be- yeah, because
Um,
Volcanion has been drafted. I don't think Volcarona has, but I'll double check.
um, but yeah, overall, I think that this team is pretty good. I think that this not having Stealth Rock.
Volcarona has also been drafted. Sorry, I
Okay,
didn't mean to
so
interrupt you.
okay. Oh, he was. Caps is also thinking of the hippo as well. Um,
Yeah, both have already been taken.
I do think that probably the thing that I would probably say, the one thing keeping this team out of S tier, in my opinion, is the lack of Stealth Rock. If Zydog gets dropped and a different ground type gets picked up, I think this team could potentially be an S tier. For now, I would be pretty content with. Oh, I forgot to do the thing. There we go. I think this team is top of A tier. I think it's just above your team personally. I just like what this team does a little bit better.
Oh, it's okay. Yeah, I'll put it above me. That's fine. Just messing with you.
But what do you think about having it in like top of A? Like,
um,
do you have any other glaring
I
opinions?
do think it's absolutely an A tier team. There are a lot of things that it does really well. It is a very strong team, and I'm scared of it. But
I agree.
um, I do agree that not having Stealth Rock is pretty big. The only two forms of hazards are spikes on Corner Pawn and your Sticky Web Cricketune. So
Yes.
I just think that's kind of rough. Um,
Yeah, and
I don't think that a team needs a ton of hazard options to win a game, but I just think that having the ability to like exert at least Stealth Rock and spikes that's good enough. That's good enough to be able to do that.
I
You know?
agree, especially since like just the option to run hazards kind of forces teams into either A, bringing boots on their mons, or B, bringing some form of removal, and not having like any hazard game at all kind of just like lets those mons be able to run their choice items, their life orb, their assault vest, their rocky helmets. Like for example, I think it's Stars who has the tornadoes. Like he's not gonna have to run heavy duty boots against this team. He can just
Oh
simply
no, he's
run.
running Scarf. He's
Yeah,
running Scarf
he's running Scarf or he's running Assault Vest. Um,
for
so
sure.
so that's kind of the one thing that I would say. Just having even a Stealth Rock user just makes people have the slightest inkling to run some form of like removal or boots or something like that. I think that in itself is valuable. So I do think that that is kind of the main thing that I would say. Um, but yeah, I think top of A tier is definitely a very fair position for it. Now let's go back to the doc and let's talk about the team Jamus here.
Jam Moose.
What do
Um,
you think of a Jamus's team, Mr. Bot?
I um I think that there are things that this team does good, and there are things that this team does very badly. I I feel like I get I feel like I understand it on a little bit more deeper level because this is the team I just fought for week 1.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the biggest thing I noticed was wow, look at those speed tiers. Your fastest Pokemon is Hisuian Electrode, which doesn't show up to a lot of games, so it's kind of like a fake fastest Pokemon. Like I'm not trying to disrespect it, but you objectively can't bring this Pokemon to every game.
Yeah.
Like this can't fill your fastest Pokemon role. So then you look to the second fastest, and it's Whimsicott, which also doesn't perform that role of your fast offensive threat.
Mm-hmm.
That is a support Pokemon. Like it can output offensively a little bit, but at the end of the day, its special attack stat is 77. You know.
Yes. Um.
Um. So then that leaves Latios at 110 as the fastest Pokemon that you should respect on this team. And don't get it twisted. This is a good Pokemon, but 110 Latios is your fastest Pokemon. It's just kind of rough.
Mm.
Um, because my Greninja, um, after a Battle Bond boost, is honestly capable of tearing this capable of tearing this whole team to shreds. And in the battle against Jam Moose, I ended up switching it out on a Skarmory because I was afraid he'd body press me and one shot me. If I stayed in a nasty plot on him defogging, that would have been a sweep for the whole. That would have been. I would have swept the whole team.
Yes. Also, Kenny,
Um,
is this regular Skarmory or is this Mega Skarmory? I can't
this is
remember.
regular Skarmory. This is regular Skarmory.
Okay. I
Wait,
just wanted to double
let me
check.
double check. Let me double check.
Okay. Yes. 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 It is regular Skarmory.
Okay.
Yeah. I wasn't sure either because I used Mega
We did
Skarmory.
a mock battle. Yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted to make sure that I wasn't getting my mock battles twisted.
Yeah, no. This is Mega this is not Mega Skarmory. Um so um I think that this team lacks a lot of immediate offensive pressure. Um because Landorus T I feel like is forced to be in kind of a defensive position for this team because there's not really like a defensive glue for this team. Like Lando T, Skarmory, and Mega Scizor, like that's just kind of it. Like
Mm-hmm.
Torracat, sometimes you can bring it if you need to tank. Like I don't know. Like let me see. Is there what like high tier like grass or fire type could this thing like take
Ogerpon
on?
Hearthflame.
This thing could take on an Ogerpon Hearthflame. Like you bring it to like a couple of niche matchups where it can like stop a Pokemon like Mega Skarmory. I know that Pokemon didn't get drafted, but like you could stop a Mega Skarmory like right in its tracks because you're not weak to body press. You intimidate it and you can burn it. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Like it doesn't work every week, but it works sometimes. Um Galarian Darmanitan is a very threatening Pokemon, but you're kind of forced to either run Choice Scarf or Choice Band on it every week, unless you're doing some crazy shit with Zen mode Galarian Darmanitan, which I don't think isn't viable. It's just not the usual,
Yes.
and I think that doesn't mean it's bad. Um, I have a lot of issues with this team outside of like my personal experience, like outside of my bias with it, and it's that there's no Ghost Resist, no Normal type, so Spectrier is going to have a field day with this team. Spectrier is literally going to run through this team. And
Yeah.
the only dark resist on this team is Whimsicott.
Mm-hmm. And I would also just like to mention as well, your removal is fine. Like you get defog
Your
on.
removal is amazing.
Ah, I wouldn't
Well,
exactly say
I mean
that.
you have a large amount of removal. Let's
You have a
sorry,
lot
that
of
wasn't
you have a large amount of defog. You don't exactly have a lot of you don't have any rapid spin, for example. So something is going to have to be brought with defog. Like every single week there's going to be some form of defogger because your team has 3 stealth rock weak mons and 0 stealth rock resist mons. And your team is fairly weak to hazards overall, like between Volk, between Garm, between like potentially like Eviolite Torracat, and like just having nothing being able to resist rocks at all. Forces you to bring defog a lot of weeks, which then in turn means that you can't use any form of hazards yourself. And granted, of course, like your team doesn't really set up hazards super easily anyways. Like Skarmory is kind of your main one for that. Lando can do it with rocks occasionally, but getting setting your rocks up and then having to immediately get rid of your own rocks after you just set them up is kind of rough. Like not having even the option for rapid spin is pretty spooky. Just for the kind of like talking about Phoenix's team that we were just talking about, how not having any stealth rockers kind of forces your opponent to not need to run boots or even removal for that matter. That's kind of the same thing with not having any form of rapid spin, since your opponent knows that that you can't really get rid of rocks outside of defog. They can just freely set up their hazards and they don't exactly need to be running boots on their own mons. Maybe they can have like one boots user if need be, but they can kind of reliably count on you removing the hazards on their side for them. And even for that matter, they don't even need to be running removal of their own. Like they don't even need to be bringing rapid spin or defog on their own. They can just count on you to defog for them as long as you have that. But that's just kind of how it is, for my opinion. Not having any rapid spin at all is kind of a little rough. Um, but at the same time, like yes, you do have objectively like a lot of removal with defog. Does that all make sense, or am I kind of just
Oh
talking out my
yeah,
ass?
no, you're making sense. I think this team would be immediately better if there was a dark type and B a rapid spinner. Honestly, like I would maybe consider dropping Hisuian Electrode, Whimsicott, Torracat, getting um hmm, I would consider getting like a Pokemon that's like within the 100 like 111 to like 130 speed tier, like somewhere around there, a Pokemon that like has a good offensive presence. Like I don't know if this Pokemon is on the board off the top of my head, but it's a threatening Pokemon that I'm going to use as an example, like Weavile. Um, like a Pokemon like that will have um it will make obviously not Weavile because you have Galarian and Darmanitan,
Mm-hmm.
but um something that will force them to respect your speed tiers,
Yeah.
because um I could easily like run I could run like a modest Greninja on this team, and like with Battle Bond, like I have Ice Beam for example. If I have a speed boost already, it doesn't matter if I'm not like being able to speed creep it exactly, because it's not gonna want to switch in on the Greninja.
Mm-hmm.
Like and if it does, you just Ice Beam it and then it dies. As an example, you know,
Yeah.
you just kill the guy.
And Caps also brought up that having not having any spin is fine. I agree with not needing rapid spin. I just personally think with this team, I would almost respect a team that doesn't have any removal than a team that has this much defog. If that makes sense. Just because, like, on teams that have zero removal, oftentimes you sort of try to plan around the fact that you don't have any removal, either not having that many things that are weak to hazards in the first place, or running a lot of boots, and then also, like, just being a more offensively oriented team rather than, like, a team that has so much defog. You don't really, like, I don't know. It's hard for me to fully explain. Like, oftentimes your opponent can plan on you using defog and getting rid of the hazards
Mhm.
that they themselves are setting up. Whereas with a team that has zero removal, there's still that option that you now have to plan for hazards themselves. I would respect hazards more on a team that has zero removal than a team that has only defog. Is sort of what I'm trying to get at. Definitely might be talking out my ass on that one. That's just kind of my opinion on it. Um, Overall, let's just see what do you sort of think the tier should be for this team?
I think that this is a C tier team, personally.
Do you think it is above or below Final Crusaders team? I'm kind of leaning towards above just a
I'm
little
thinking
bit.
above. I'm thinking
Okay.
above Final Crusader.
All right. Sounds good. I think that that's definitely very fair for sure. And then also, I did see both Caps and Patty mention this as well. The overall weakness to special attacks is definitely something of note too. Just forgot to put a lot of emphasis on it. But yes, that is definitely another big issue with the team as well. I do think
It's
that.
kind of like how we said that Legion didn't have like immediately offensively threatened
Mhm.
physical Pokemon. I
Yes.
agree.
Um, so for right now, I really need to take a little bathroom break, so I will be back in just a moment here. Oh, there we go. That's a better one.
Are we on uh the like what is it? That be right back screen? No, he just ditched me. Fuck this guy. Wow. Unbelievable. Oh. No, never mind. Oh, story time with me? Oh. Uh I'm trying to think of a story time that's like interesting off the top of my head because I'm really bad at being put on the spot. Um, fuck, man, you picked like the worst person of all time to ask for a story time for. Um, hmm.
All right, I am
Oh,
back.
oh, welcome back. I thank God you got back before I could think up of a story that I was being put up on the spot to think of. Man, I would have been over.
um,
Patty was peer pressuring me and everything. It was awful. I couldn't handle it. I folded immediately, bro. It was over.
absolutely folded. Just putting on a little bit of music here because I just realized I've gone through this entire stream so far and there's been zero music, so
You didn't put any music on? Wow.
I just
This guy
completely
hates you.
forgot.
I've been listening to my own music and I just assumed you had it on because I muted the stream. But I had it open just so I could see chat.
um, I hope. Also, by the way, everybody, if you guys can't hear any of the music, just let me know. I'll bump it up a little bit. But right
Hey
now, I just
Steve,
got
I
a little
can't
bit of
hear the
calm
music.
music.
I have
Fuck off,
your
Kenny. Fuck
thing
off. Fuck
muted.
off.
I have
Fuck
your
off.
thing muted though.
Piss boy. Piss boy.
Alright, bro. Alright.
uh, all right. So next up in line, here we have Ash Ice Claw. So, what do you think of Ash's team, Mr. Bot?
Alright, so, what's up, Weavile? Hey, man, I always, like, somehow precede the Pokemon that is in the, like, next team. It's crazy. I don't even, I'm not even doing it on purpose. I'm just, like, an Oracle or something. But, I really like Great Tusk in Misty Terrain. I think one of the worst things that you can do to hinder a Great Tusk is to status it. So, it being in Misty Terrain, I think is a really big deal. I think that's good. But
Mm-hmm.
I do think that this team kind of lacks in like I don't know how to describe it. It feels like there's just like something missing from this team that makes it
Immediately
that makes it
threatening.
like yeah, that makes it immediately threatening because nothing's like. And don't get me wrong, like Great Tusk and Mega Chandelure are very strong Pokemon, and like Weavile is a fast guy. He's very strong, but I'm not like I don't think it's like an overwhelming offense. Um, I do like that there are very strong like defensive backbones to this team in Tapu
Hmm.
Fini, Aloe, and Ferrothorn.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, I think Ferrothorn is an absolute bitch to deal with, and
Agreed.
you have the Wish Fish on your team,
Yeah,
and
and
I don't think you can go wrong with that.
I agree, especially since I think Mega Shandy and Great Tusk both are big fans of the Wishfish. Um, I do think that um, overall, I think the biggest thing I would say is also kind of another thing that we've been mentioning all night so far. Both Grafii and Galv are kind of fake speed tiers. Not so much Galv, but Grafii is only going to be coming to like maybe 1 or 2 games tops. Like the thing is
And
not that great.
and
Uh,
realistically, if it shows up, it's going to be using Unburden or Prankster, which kind of like its speed tier is kind of like not really applicable
mhm.
to like speed creeping, you know? Nobody's gonna be like, oh, I have to speed creep this Grafii. Because if you encounter it, it's probably either gonna be faster than you because of Unburden, or it's gonna be using Prankster and having priority anyways. So it's like, what's the point of even trying to speed creep it, you know?
Agreed. And Galvantula only having 97 base special attack isn't exactly that scary. Like, you can, like, some matchups you might want to speed creep it, but I could definitely see, like, a higher tier mon that's like below, that's just above 108 speed, like for example a Latios. I could see them not even worrying about the Galvantula, honestly, and just running like a Modest, for example, to outspeed like just a Mega Chandelure. Like I could see them ignoring that, honestly, especially if they're like a calm mindset already, so their bug buzzes are going to be bouncing off of them at +1 anyways. And they,
Mm-hmm.
like, I do think that for example, Ash Ice kind of needs to respect that Latios can outspeed Galvantula, so then they would want to be like swap them out anyways. So that's kind of the biggest thing. Mega Shandy, of course, is going to be pretty scary here. 175 special attack, like that's going to be nuking things from orbit, especially with like calm mindsets. Like I know it's kind of my thing, but the max special attack, speed creep what you need to, and the rest in defense with a calm mindset goes absolutely insane with Mega Shandy, I feel like. But it's still overall going to not be as threatening, like just immediately, than like some other mons could potentially be. I think Great Tusk doesn't exactly love being run with a choice band. Weavile prefers Life Orb or Boots. Your removal is fine. Like you have the best removal in the game with Rapid Spin on Tusk and a secondary defog with Tapu Fini. Um,
I would say I think I would prefer to have a third. I would have preferred to have like another defogger on this team
mhm.
because Tapu Fini defogging away, or maybe another spinner, just because like defogging away your own misty terrain is like the mystery terrain is one of the few things that's like really good synergy on this team, and I feel like that's uh getting rid of like that defensive like piece for Great Tusk and Weavile to benefit from,
Yeah,
and like obviously everybody else too, but mostly like those are the two pieces that are like the main protection. And I guess like Ferrothorn getting burned or something, you don't want that to happen, but
yeah, for sure. And Caps Lock is posting some calcs in the chat, but like Earthquake Iron Treads is doing like pretty much uh it doesn't kill Mega Chandelure if you have max HP with Earthquake. Like max,
Wow.
yeah, like it doesn't kill in one shot. Granted, it does 2-hit KO, but like with just max HP, like it's a guaranteed 2-hit KO. The one thing that I would probably say though is your stealth rock weak and you can't hold boots, so it does kind of force Tusk to be your spinner like every week. Sure, of course, it is the best spinner in the game. I don't wanna
Like,
argue that. But sometimes Tusk doesn't want to spin. Sometimes Tusk wants to do other things. And same sort of deal with Tapu Fini. Sometimes you just can't slot on Defog. Like, so, and even then, even if you have both of those guys, sometimes there will just be turns where Stealth Rocks are up. And on those turns, if Chandelure needs to switch in, it is not going to enjoy that doing so.
absolutely not.
um,
I will say I do think it's a very big W for Mega Chandelure users that Flash Fire is its base ability. Obviously Flame Body is like really good, but I like having Flash Fire specifically for your Weavile and Ferrothorn here. Like it's a really good synergy too.
yeah, for sure. And Caps was mentioning Wish Shandy back up to full after. Definitely 100%. Wish Fish, of course, is great on this team. Objectively, like there's a lot of good synergies with Wish Fish, and Ferrothorn is a really solid defensive backbone alongside it. Like they resist pretty much all of each other's like weaknesses, and they're able to like swap back and forth pretty easily. And even on the weeks that Aloe doesn't exactly want to come, Tapu Fini kind of like takes over that role with Ferrothorn and kind of does that same sort of thing. Um, and then also Mesprit, of course, is pretty okay as a utility mon as well. Gal for webs is pretty solid here to help out with Weavile not needing to run Scarf, and it does help Mega Shandy a lot against like non-Scarfers or even Scarfers that are just below base 90. It lets it be able to hit things insanely hard. But yeah, I do really like Mega Chandelure on this team overall. And there's been talk of Flash Fire as well. Definitely agree. Flash Fire is great with things like preventing Will-O-Wisps on Weavile and Tusk. It's good for switching in to flamethrowers aimed at Galv, Weavile, and Ferrothorn. I think
Not to
that
interrupt
Flash
you.
Fire is definitely really, really good here.
Not to interrupt you.
Yeah.
They're also saying it's buggy. It's bugged out to where if you switch in your base form Chandelure and it gets a Flash Fire, and then you Mega Evolve it, it loses the Flash Fire boost, despite it still being Flash Fire as its ability.
Oh, that is.
So that's weird, but
Yeah, that
huh.
is weird. But other than that, though, like after you Mega Evolve, like then you can do that just fairly nicely. I do think. Oh, I forgot to do the thing again. We're gonna ignore that. Okay.
What did you forget to do?
It's just on the
Steve?
stream. It's just I keep just clicking the tab and I don't click the transition thing.
Tisk,
Tisk tisk tisk. Where do you think Ash Ice's team should be? I kind of like putting it in A tier, but I could also see it being like top of
I think this can,
B.
I think this can be the king of B tier for right now. I do agree with Patty saying that Mesprit and Minior being the only members of the team that are not on the ground is kind of an L.
Yeah.
I'm paraphrasing. That would be pretty funny for him to say. That's not. Um, I think that like a better flying type. I'm not saying Minior is like dog shit because Minior is a decent shell smasher. Like I respect the guy. He's got some good shit going for him. I think he's got like power meteor beam shit too.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, he can definitely do work, but like,
it's just not your only that can't be your only flying type. I'm sorry. That's just not it.
yeah. And Mesprit is solid with levitate and everything, but then Mesprit is your only ground switch it. like reliable ground switch in. You really would like to have it like another ground resist or a flying type or something along those lines.
I still think it's a very good team though.
Yeah, definitely agree. I definitely think that it's among like the top 4 best teams that we've ranked so far. Moving over to the next one. Going here. Now we have Jay's team. Round 1 Slurpuff. Immediate big ups from me, I can't lie.
That's just goat shit. I do think that this team can. Okay, you sorted by speed.
Yeah.
I do think that this team's speed tiers are okay. I would have liked to see something in the 90s, but like it's not even that bad to be honest. It's really
Yeah.
not.
My thing with it is Jolteon without Terra isn't really the best. Like it's fine, don't get me wrong, but it's not amazing. And outside of Jolteon, your main 2 speedsters are Mega Metacham and Ogerpon Hearthflame, which are not able to be ran with a Choice Scarf. They
Ooh,
both
you're
can
actually right.
they both can boost their speed with like Trailblaze or Agility now that Mega Metacham gets it.
But
But
it's not
that
immediate threatening speed.
exactly. And outside of that, like Cleavor is kind of the only thing on your team that really enjoys running a Choice Scarf. Outside of that, it really is not the best the best guy. Like sure he can come quite frequently, honestly, to just like in a lead with Scarf, just click Stone Axe and get rocks up. But I do think that the team overall is kind of just it's kind of lacking in just a
It's a
couple of
little
ways.
slow.
Yeah, it's a little
It's a little
slow.
slow. There's not really a strong offensively threatening Pokemon. Like, don't get me wrong, Jolteon is not weak. 110 special attack is something that you at least have to acknowledge.
Hmm.
But the thing is that it's a limited. It has such a limited move pool that it's not really like. There's leaps and bounds between the offensive pressure that like a Jolteon can put out, versus like what hold on, let me search electric type.
Like
And
a
versus like what a Zapdos can do, or like a Tapu Koko,
or even a
or
Zero
like
Aura.
or even a Zeraora. Yeah. Like because the sheer amount of moves that it doesn't get.
Hmm.
Like you run Thunderbolt, you have Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball is good coverage. That's like pretty nice. You have Alluring Voice. But and then after that, what are you doing? Running Calm Mind. You have Electric, Fairy, Ghost.
Yeah,
So you
Electric Fairy
still
Ghost.
like I don't even do you even get Grass Knot?
He might.
You don't even get Grass Knot.
No,
You don't have
guess
like
not.
anything to hit. You don't even have anything to hit grounds.
Yeah, the best
Like
thing that you can do against grounds is just neutral attacks, and the rest of the team is just not that fit for taking on ground
um,
types outside of
the
Ogre
best thing you
Flame.
can do, the best thing you can do for ground types is switching out.
Yes, exactly. And even then,
Um,
like Ogre
there is
Flame,
no ground resist on this team.
yeah, there's no like ground resist, but I mean Corviknight and Dragonite do switch in fairly well on ground types. So, I do think that overall, I think it's just like, there's just a couple of things that I find a bit iffy about it. Patty mentioned it. Double webs between Smeargle and Slurpuff is pretty funny for Mega Metacham, like supporting that. But at the same time, outside of that, I do kind of think that the team is just a little lacking. Like Dragonite is decent, but not really having the best like overall removal outside of Corviknight. Kind
I
of
think
forces D-Knight to run
Dragonite.
boots.
Yeah, I think Dragonite is forced to run boots most of the time, and also I think um Dragonite and Mega Metacham are the two most immediately threatening Pokemon on the team. Yet that's an 80 speed Pokemon and a 100 speed Pokemon.
Yes.
Which leads to a lot of counterplay because whether it be removal like good removal to get rid of the webs that you put down, or it be their own sticky webs, you know?
Mm-hmm. Um, and then also I would just like to mention too, very, very ice weak. Like, sure, ice isn't like the worst thing in the world to be like super weak to, but at the same time, like not having any resist is just kind of a little iffy. Like,
Um, yeah.
and not really having any.
Ice beam is quite literally free into this team.
Yeah, like for example, like the Kira matchup literally have no reason to not just run Scarf Ice Beam and just like run a train. Like the Corviknight, I'm sure can do pretty decently, especially defensive, but then like outside of that, it's like that's kind of like your only Ice Beam answer, and having Corviknight be the Ice Beam answer is kind of a little rough. Um,
Yeah.
and then also, Caps did mention as well that the mons that we gave as examples that are better than Jolteon are way more expensive, and they put forth Kilowattrel and Hisuian Electrode as better comparisons, which are definitely better than Jolteon for having better coverage and generally like being either faster or just like having just better utility. I definitely agree with that. What do we think for rankings here, Mr. Bot?
I think that this is
I think
a
C.
C. I think that this is a C tier. I think this is in the middle of a C.
Think it's worse
Cause
than Jamoose's or better?
hmm. Let me go back.
Because I'm a little kind of back and forth between the two.
I think Jam Moose's is better.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't fully sure, but I can agree. So yeah, I think here's fine. I think there's just a few things that are just a little iffy about it. I think that like going a little too far in with like the utility with like Smeargle and then also having Slurpuff is kind of just a little iffy. Maybe get a different like
I just think that like a better normal type would be better. I feel like Smeargle is kind
mhm.
of an overrated Pokemon. If you already have access to like quote unquote unique things like court change or sticky web, I feel like that decreases the value of getting a Smeargle because you are getting the Smeargle to have access to a lot of tools that almost nobody else can have, like on
Yeah.
one Pokemon, you know?
Mhm.
Like
Or like example,
you want
he
the guy with Burning Bulwark and Ceaseless Edge on the same thing, you know?
yeah. And like I do think that there is merit to having a um what was I gonna say? I do think that there's merit to having Ceaseless Edge on this guy, but I do almost think that like it would be better if he didn't have Cleavor here, just because.
Yeah, literally because of Stone Axe too. I didn't even think of Stone
Yes.
Axe.
Because then you can just sort of run like lead Smeargle, then click your Ceaseless Edge, your Stone Axe or whatever, get your hazards up, and that kind of like steals what Cleavar is trying to do. And like,
You
yeah,
have
you
like
can make
two
the argument that
designated leads already.
yes, and on top of that, then Slurpuff then with like webs and stuff, like it's just like a little bit too much of that same thing when you could be more getting other different things to sort of fill in like different roles on the team instead. And also, Caps did post a thing in chat as well. Whatever it's called. Max special attack Draining Kiss does 2-hit KO Smeargle, which is pretty fucking funny. So it's not even really a great Spectre answer.
This ain't no double. You hear?
True, it ain't no double. All right. So I think that's fair. Now it's time to move on to Thud's team. What do we think of Thud?
I think the name Thud is very funny.
It's
And
very
I like
good.
that there's three Ds. Um, I think that this team is fucking horrific.
Agreed.
Uh, this is easily an amazing, like offensively threatening team. You have things that are immediately offensively threatening that just yell out at you, which are Tapu Koku, Iron Bundle, and uh, Iron Boulder. And I
Hmm.
would honestly argue on this team specifically,
Raichu.
a choice specs alone Raichu, because rising voltage is fucking disgusting with the choice specs.
Yep.
That is like I'm I know ground types exist. And like yeah, it gets surf. This is the Tapu Koko team of all time.
I
Let's
agree.
just put it that way. There are things that will be faster than your team, and you'll have to just have the things that take the move, like Dugong for
Yep.
Iron Bundle, for example.
Yes, which does not enjoy the Alola Raichu and Tapu Koko.
No, but like even then, the Dugong like itself just like that's a Moltres answer. That's an Iron Bundle answer, or not answer, but it's a wall.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing, like you mentioned choice specs on Alola Raichu, because of course it can be immediately threatening, but I do think that I was just going to mention this, but I saw Caps already posted it as well. Life Orb is still really solid on Alola Raichu, especially since that it gets Nasty Plot. So it's like
Yeah,
you just
Mega
run
Plot
Nasty
out
Plot
here. You're
Life
right.
Orb, and then like you're just killing things. Like you have the
Then you have
Rising
Rising
Voltage.
Voltage, Psychic Surf.
Yep, and the psychic and the Surge Surfer ability doubles your speed. So then like you just run Terrain Extender on Tapu Koko and you just like murder things, and even outside of electric terrain, because this is my favorite thing about this team is that it's an electric team objectively, but it can do things outside of electric terrain. like it has
Absolutely.
like it has Moltres for Moltres, Gligar, uh, the evil Blissey and Registeel for defensive support. But even then, Moltres isn't always forced to be defensive. It can do offensive things. Registeel isn't forced to always just be the standard bulky wall. It can do the curse, bulky offense like version with the max special defense and then curse variant, and you get really good utility out of Gligar with like rocks, spikes, and the likes. And then you also get like Grimmsnarl there for like screen support.
Great screens.
Yep, for screen support, parting shot. Um, if only he got knockoff. If he got knockoff, I think that would be amazing. But even then, like Sucker Punch for Scarfers is pretty decent. And it also weakens special attackers a lot with Spirit Break. I really like this team overall, and I think that it does the job of being able to be a potentially insanely strong offensive team that can just on a dime like flip a switch and it can be a stall team. Like,
Honestly, also, if if um if you don't have a ghost type, if you don't bring a ghost type to your battle against this guy, he brings Mega Chestnut. After 2 iron defenses, he literally sweeps your team, bro.
mhm,
Unironically, unless you have like a quad resist to fighting on your team, Mega Chestnut is a huge threat.
agreed. I definitely agree. Mega Chestnut is super scary. Like the fact that you have such immediate offensive pressure with Bundle, Alola Raichu, Tapu Koko, and Iron Boulder, while also not having the bulky like offensive roles with like Registeel, Mega Chestnut, and the like. I think, and then also Moltres. Like overall, I think that, and like your speed tiers are good too. Like even outside of like electric terrain, you have great speed tiers. Like I see like very little wrong with this team. Like your type chart is excellent. your weaknesses are like very minimal, and the things that you're strong against is great. I genuinely think this is my favorite team. I think this is like the S tier team.
I think this is the best team we've seen for sure.
Yeah, I definitely think that this team is easily like the most disgusting team that we have come across so far, and I think this is easily the S tier team, and it's the team to beat, I think.
I agree. I think that this is, uh, albeit electric terrain teams are very basic and can be seen as one note. This one is actually a very unusual and pretty funny electric terrain team, and I think that it can do a lot more than that. But I also feel like if they decide to run the team bulky, they do suffer a lot from. Um, I feel like specifically fighting types with knockoff, because a lot of and ice punch, because I feel like a lot of fighting types get like rock and ice coverage just by like,
Yeah, just by
you
the
know, like
nature of
having
it.
fist, yeah, just by the nature of like being a fighting type. You're like, oh yeah, you get rock slide, you get like ice punch, you sometimes get knockoff. And I feel like a Pokemon like that, with like that specifically unique coverage, could like tear a big hole into this team, you know?
Hmm. And also, just
Or like stop it dead in its tracks, because like mind games being played
yeah,
with like
yeah, and
just having to switch it on the correct move and then getting it wrong, and then like eating a rock slide as opposed to a close combat and then getting shit on, you know?
yeah, I definitely agree. And I do also just want to say, like, Registeel and Blissey especially are definitely very passive. I was mainly just like pointing out that, like, sure, it doesn't have to be a super passive set. Like, I think the curse sets definitely can like put some kind of pressure on the team. Like one curse or one ID, and you're gonna have to respect those body presses after. It's kind of just what I'm trying to get at. Like, Blissey objectively is very passive. Registeel definitely still passive in general, but I do think it's at least something that you have to like respect to a degree. Still weak to taunt.
Yeah.
um,
I think that this is a very taunt weak.
and you're definitely right, Caps. Mega Chestnut is definitely, with its 100 and like what's its 172 defense stat. That's basically a fighting resist right there.
That's fair enough. Yeah.
If only he got bulletproof I'm pretty sure bulletproof makes it immune to focus blast.
Honestly, this thing would be like like 17, like 16 points if it had bulletproof.
I agree,
Because
but yeah,
it's immune to sludge bomb.
yeah, makes you
With
immune to
bulletproof.
sludge bomb, immune to shadow ball, and the like. But yeah, it can only be overgrow, sadly. But yeah, I think easily this team is S tier. Now to move on to Cran's team. Bro has the Roaring Moon. He has the Showdown champion himself.
Roaring Moon.
And speaking of passive, we have Toxapex here. Um,
Dang.
I'm not sure what to think about this team, honestly. It has a couple of
First
interesting
of
mons,
all,
but
holy ice weakness.
very true. Yeah.
I think that this team could uniquely benefit from having an ice type on it. That's like a bit of advice that I think. I don't think the team's bad. I just think it could use like like just a kind of a shitter ice type that could like do like a decent job of checking like an iron bundle.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like how I have Dugong. Like that's a shitter ice type that like it has stuff, don't get it twisted, but like its existence is to only show up to like 1 or 2 games. And I feel like that like ice weakness that's on Krant's team is kind of like how mine is kind of bad.
Yeah.
Well, well, to be fair, mine's like a decent bit like less bad because I have Victini, which can like actually tank an ice move, but it's more so for like an Iron Bundle matchup that Dugong's there.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm trying to say is that like a shitter ice type would do him good because I have a shitter ice type for the same reason that he should have one, you know?
Yeah.
Uh,
I
but
do
I think the team's good.
I do think that Aegislash especially being able to resist ice does make it kind of okay. Volcarona as another ice resist is kind of like it's fine, but it's
I
like
kind of disagree with that because I don't think that a Volcarona wants to take like a Weavile Life Orb like Icicle Crash or something, you know?
yeah, like that's where I'm kind of iffy with Volcarona. Toxapex, it eats it, but like it's a Toxapex. Like what are you gonna be doing afterwards? Like that is the
Yeah.
definition of passive mon. Um,
Uh,
like you're gonna be switching in and being like, okay, what else can I switch into after this?
yeah.
Like you're not gonna be forcing anything after that. Like I will say Toxapex in Nat decks is significantly better than it is in PAL decks just because it keeps Scald. So you can still force some kind of like forward progress by getting by scalding things and threatening physical attackers. But for example, like if it's a Kyurem, let's just say, that has like that's spamming like freeze dry and ice beam, like you're not switching in on that like at all.
Yeah.
Um and
And to
then
go to that extreme, I genuinely think that Iron Bundle destroys this team single-handedly. It needs almost no assistance.
yeah, for
One
sure.
Iron Bundle could honestly like the only thing it really needs help with is breaking Reuniclus and like maybe Aegislash or Clefable. Maybe.
Mhm. Um
Like Iron Bundle is absolutely brutal into this team, which is why I'm like, bro, you got to get an ice type on there.
yeah. I
Bro, get Walrein. Get Walrein. Throw Walrein's ass on here. He'll appreciate. He'll appreciate the love.
True. Funnily enough, I also do think that the team is pretty bad when it comes to speed tiers. Like Lucha and Moon are kind of your main like speedy guys. Volcarona is kind of fake speed because oftentimes you want to be running it bulky to get off multiple quiver dances. And then Toadscruel objectively is super fake speed, and then after that, your next speed tier is Iron Thorns at
72.
72. So it's like,
Which you are not running booster speed on. You are running booster attack on or defense if you are ever running a booster.
yeah, you
Energy.
literally need like zero attack investment, like no IV, no like minus attack boosting
Probably
speed
timid
nature.
nature.
Yes, it is definitely really rough in terms of speed, I would want to say. Like Lucha is fine enough, but like not having being able to do the unburden thing with that regular Lucha can is really rough. And like Mega Halucha is just such a weird mon. Like I don't know what to think about it. Like
I also am unsure what to think of Mega Halucha because it's just kind of big, and I
yeah,
feel like it didn't like if it was literally 10 speed points higher, I would be like, holy shit, this guy's the goat, you know?
yeah,
But it barely got faster. I think it literally got not faster at all, or like 2 speed points faster, you know?
yeah, for sure. It's like it's so
And
weird.
it,
Like it almost wants to be like a more like a Roost SD variant. Like instead,
uh,
like
I
that's kind
do
of all it
think
can do.
I do wish it had Mold Breaker, but honestly, I don't mind it having Limber because I think that Limber is a decent ability on a Pokemon that already relies so much on its speed that like the number one thing you think is like uh the thing is that about Mega Halucha, like when you see it, the first thing you think is either ooh I want to paralyze it or ooh I want to burn it,
Yeah.
or like maybe put it to sleep if you have something faster than it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But
And I do think it's definitely worth like spamming Thunder Wave into this team to a degree. Like stopping a booster speed Roaring Moon or a Scarf Roaring Moon is definitely helpful. Paralyzing Volcarona is probably the best way of dealing with it. It's just outside of Roaring Moon, Lucha, and Volcarona, there's nothing else on the team that you really care about paralyzing, like at all. So it's like
I agree.
it kind of feels a little weird in that instance, but I do think that overall, I think the team is just a little like. Also, it's just weird. Like Mega Drampa is kind of bad. Like it's objectively like pretty damn like it's really damn strong, and it'll live one hit, but you're trading it. It's a 1-for-1 kind of mon.
And
Uh,
also, by running Mega Drampa, that means you can't run Mega Halucha, so it's kind of like
yeah.
you have a waste of your fighting type in a way, so it's kind of like a... I almost would rather be like, honestly, you should just have regular, like, Drampa, or like another normal type.
Mm-hmm. I definitely can agree to that.
Loki.
It's
Like,
really weird.
specifically on this team. I think that the 2 Mega rule, um, is a good thing to have. But the thing is that I think a lot of teams benefit from having only 1 mega or 0 megas. I think a team can still easily be S tier without a single mega evolution.
Yep, I agree. It's it's definitely really weird, I will say. Like I don't think it's a bad team. It's just like it's a weird team. It's a really really weird team. Like it can definitely do things, and it can do things like decently well. It's just like I don't know how to feel about it, cuz there are things about it that just like rub me the wrong way. You get what I mean?
Yeah, I get you.
Um
There's something like incomplete about the team. I totally agree with you.
mhm. Yeah. Um and then
Yeah,
yeah.
I totally agree with what you said.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I think this team should be like low B, top of
I think that
C.
this is I think that this is I think this is a B tier team. I think this is B.
I think just
There's a
below Caps' team
there
personally.
is yeah, I think this is under caps. I think that there is a lot of things that you need to respect on this team, and you have to acknowledge that. Like Swords Dance Mega Halusha, that's a scary guy. I think that the 2 mega rule also is a benefit to Sableye as well. Um, I was very close to drafting Mega Sableye, but I just ended up not having the points for it. But trust me, I was looking because I think that it also benefits my other Mega, which is Venusaur. Sableye and Venusaur is like a 2 mega thing. I think would be a very perfect combination. Like
Agreed.
probably the best 2 megas that you could have like on a draft.
Um
Um, but let's move on to the next one.
yes, I definitely agree. Um so here we have Jaden's team. The Lele Sneasler team, with Iron Crown, DOD, um, as well with like the Psychic Terran.
I do like the Iron Crown here, but I think the Deoxys defense is just a little excessive.
I agree.
Um,
I get it.
I
It's mainly for like the hazards and just like general bulk. Like I can definitely understand it, but I think it's a little
can,
excessive. It's a little
can
much.
you sort this by speed real quick for me, boss?
Yes, I am. You're delayed.
Oh, hold on. I don't know why I'm on the dock. I don't know why I didn't update it. I'm refreshing it right now, though.
Oh, that's strange.
Okay,
Um,
there we go. So 120 to 110, the 110 being something that can't hold a speed boosting item, and that goes down after that to was that 98? Yeah, 98 with Iron Crown. So 120 to 110 to 98 is a little bit rough on your speed tiers. And then you go from 90 to 77 again
Mm-hmm.
down. I feel like your Deoxys defense won't be running that much speed anyways, so that's like I feel like it's more of like a Rotom to Heatran, but it's like 1 point. It's not. I'm being nitpicky. But there's just speed gaps on this team that I feel like are a bit of an issue.
Yeah, you have
You
a
do
lot
have
of base 90s.
you do have very fast Pokemon. You have I would argue pretty good Scarfers. I think Laylee's a good Scarfer. I think Crown is uh less good than Lele, but still good as a Scarfer.
Mm-hmm.
Heatran is a good Scarfer for sure. Um, and you have your funny, cute Cosmo and pick. I like that. I'm a fan. That's
Yes.
your teleport pivot smile.
I already see people mentioning this in the chat. DOD and Dusclops definitely do kind of fill the same exact roles, and on a team that has 6 ghost weaknesses, you definitely don't want that. I personally
Also,
think you definitely get rid of Dusclops for sure. It offers this team nothing because DOD just does everything Dusclops does better, outside of
I
like, of
think
course, hazard blocking, but you already have base Rotom. Like,
I think the ghost weakness thing should be like taken with like a consideration of one less, because let's be honest, Cosmoem's not like a real Pokemon, and
okay,
is
yes,
kind of a thing that shouldn't be taken into consideration. I'm not saying that the ghost and dark weaknesses isn't fucking massive, because
yeah,
I see it. I'm looking at the same screen as you, you know.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I would highly recommend dropping Dusclops and Rotom, and getting a different electric type. Probably getting a normal type, or not probably, absolutely getting a normal type.
Mm-hmm.
And because you already have a dark type, you have Scrafty, and I think that will be enough to patch up like your absolutely monumental ghost weakness.
Yeah, definitely
Other than
agree.
that, you don't have, outside of Heatran, which I get is a good flash fire Pokemon. You don't have a single fire resist. Um, you don't have
To be fair, he only has one weakness to fire too, so like it's kind of fine, I want to say, but yes,
I
I do
kind of
agree.
I might be biased just because I'm the guy with Victini, but I kind of disagree.
Yeah.
I think fire is a strong offensive type that you can't really afford to not have a good resist to.
I think Heatran does a solid enough job to switch in on most fire type moves.
I
Um
agree. I just think like one fire resist.
yeah, which
Uh,
I do think here you can definitely like I can see the realm where you keep DOD, don't get me wrong, but I think outside of hazards, you don't really care to have it on the team. I think between DOD, Dusclops, and Rotom Base, you can mix those guys up and really patch up a lot of holes. Just because, like, Rotom, you already have so many base 90 speeds anyways. You can get a faster electric type for that. And then you mix up between DOD and Dusclops, you get a decent normal type. And
and
then
honestly, maybe like a rock type. I honestly think your team could benefit from a rock type.
potentially a rock type, or even a dragon type, for example, like for example a Haxorus or something like that would be pretty decent. I haven't seen any Haxorus yet. Haxorus might still be coming. I don't remember. But overall, I think Haxorus could be pretty decent. I do think that overall that's kind of just the main thing, though. I think it's a solid size spam team. It could definitely be worse. I definitely think it's the ghost weakness that really, really weighs it down, though, for sure.
Yeah, I agree with what Kat said, where he said it's better to spam a move with 5 neutral targets than and 1 immunity slash resist than 3 weaknesses and 3 resists, which is something I totally agree with. Um, like uh, Ivy Cudgel from Ogrepon Hearthflame, just like every time it comes in, it's taking names
I
against
agree.
this team.
Especially since Ogre Pawn Hearthflame gets Mold Breaker, so it can
Oh
actually
my
hit
god!
Heatran.
And I didn't even realize there's no ground type either. There's no ground type on this team.
Oh yeah, you're also completely right about that. Yeah, no ground type. I guess we just didn't notice it because the rest of the team like offensively is pretty solid that like didn't even notice it. But yeah, definitely
Yeah.
like biggest things for this team. Getting rid of that ghost type weakness, getting a dark type for sure. Not dark type, you already have one with Scrafty, but a normal type, getting a different electric type over Rotom, and then ideally's a ground type. I understand that it's definitely tough to find like a mid-tier ground type because they're either really good or really bad, but I would probably say getting a ground type would also be pretty big here, and ideally one that also resists fire. Or
Because you only have one electric resist on your team, and it's Rotom, which is very frail.
mhm,
Volt Switch is so free on this team.
agreed. I think this team has potential to have some really high highs. I'm a big fan of Sneasler Tapu Lele, and it's really strong with Psy Spam in general, with Iron Crown. Ogerpon Wellspring is great. Mega Scrafty is really solid, I want to say. Like, that is a very threatening Mon on this team. And it's really what's holding the entire team together, I feel like, with the Ghost weakness. Um,
Yeah, no, it's going to be a pivotal thing that this Scrafty is kept alive. I feel like a lot of the sets are going to have rest on it just so we can benefit from Shed Skin. It's
Agreed.
gonna be like bulk up, rest, drain punch, like parting shot or like knockoff, and it's gonna be like obviously there's gonna be like coverage. I think Mega Scrafty is such a good Pokemon, and I think it's going to do a lot of work on this team.
Yes,
Despite it being the second fighting type on this team, I do think that it and Sneasler do very different things, despite like both of them being sweepers.
I definitely agree. Especially since, like, Scrafty is the entire, like, it's the knockoff switch in. It's the Shadow
It's the
Ball switch
knockoff
in.
user.
Yes, it's the knockoff user. It's the thing that is holding this entire team together. And I think just for all like what weaknesses there are, they're definitely very fixable. But I think that because that they are so prominent, I think this team really can't be any higher than C tier. I don't know where
Yeah,
in
I
C
think
tier it
that
should
this can be
be,
the. I think
but
this can be the top. I think this can be the top of C tier for sure.
yeah, like I can definitely see some people ranking it lower, but I think that the upsides of this team potentially are pretty high. But and honestly, the issues are so fixable. Like getting rid of
I
Dio,
agree.
Dusclops, and Rotom, and then just mix matching with like anything else. That alone will just like bump the team up to like potentially B or A, depending on what you add on. Like it is so easy to fix this team, and as is, it's still strong, but it could be way way better, super super easily. Um, okay, and now moving on to the next one. Here we have Fantasy's team. Why does this team kind of feel like a Victory Stars team, or is it just because I see, or
I
is it
think
just
it's
because
because you see Meowscarada and Terrapagos.
I think that is why, yeah. But
Um, I think that this team is um hmm. I think that this team is good. I like this team a lot actually. I'm looking at it more and it's growing on me more. I think this is a very good balanced offense team.
mhm, it's definitely very
It's a
balanced
little
offense.
it's it's a little bit more on like a an offense side. It's like a like slightly offensive leaning balance. Like there's like less bulky things, but Aurora Veil is really amazing for this team.
Mhm.
I think the Swampert pick is beautiful. I love Swampert. This type chart is looking absolutely beautiful. I love it.
I
There's nothing that
I agree.
immediately reaches. There's nothing that immediately screams out to me where it's like I have an issue with this. The only thing that's like slightly iffy is that there's a lot of things that Electric just loves. I think the Electric Terrain team is gonna be really good here, despite
Mhm.
there being Swampert. Like Tapu Koko gets Grass Knot, I believe. Um, like this team has like it's bad matchups, and I think those matchups are really bad. But I honestly think it's going to be good into most teams. I think this is a very solid team. I really like it a lot. I do think that uh, it's a little bit too stacked in one area of like the speed, which I think is fine if you can make it work. But I personally think it should be like a little more spread out.
Yeah, I think that it could be I think it can be fine. Like for example, Alola Ninetales, you're not running Choice Scarf a lot of the time. Iron Moth loves running booster speed, so I think that like it kind of throws off that speed gap a little bit. Same kind of deal with Meow, like being able to not always have to run Choice Scarf because Iron Moth is either booster speed or Choice Scarf is fine. Zapdos likes to be ran bulky a lot of the time, so it's not going to be overlapping as much with a Mega Phalanx, because I think Mega Phalanx, you actually want to be running it faster so it can get a decent speed buff from Last Respects. Because I do think
Did you just call that Last Respects?
whatever it's called, No Retreat. That's what I meant to say.
Get a load of this guy.
And Battle Armor, funnily enough, actually does a fairly solid job of stopping you from getting crit after you set up your No Retreat. So, like, you're actually surprisingly bulky once you get your No Retreat up. Like, you come in on like, a bulky wall that's not going to do too much damage to you. And you just set up a No Retreat, and you're surprisingly bulky. Your best way of dealing with Mega Phalanx is going to be to status it. But that you could also say that about a lot of things. You could say that about Meowscarada, for example.
Yeah, and the thing is that on this team, like, you have Heal Bell on Alolan Ninetales and Aromatherapy on Sinistea.
Oh
Or,
yeah, I forget that that's a
no,
move.
Poltegeist. That's this one. I got it mixed up.
Mm-hmm.
Cause you see the fucking grass one now more than the regular one.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like those are just like unreliable ways of healing status. I do think that Alolan Ninetales is a lot more consistent, but I just feel like you're not getting a lot of those spare turns to be able to like get up that heal bell.
Yeah, I can definitely get that for sure. It's mainly on the
This
specific matchups where you really want Mega Phalanx to go off and you want to support it in the best way that you can. That's kind of the main idea.
the thing I noticed about this team is that I feel like I feel like this team is like while it's kind of it has kind of bulky Pokemon like Terapagos, Zapdos, Swampert, and Metagross, Mega Phalanx.
Mm-hmm.
I think that this team will almost always lose a stall war
Oh yeah, it definitely
because
will.
it doesn't have the resources to keep up with a defensively oriented team or something that's trying to toxic stall it out. I did notice that Patty said something around that. This thing, if a game goes on for a really long time, this team does not have the resources to keep going.
Yeah.
It doesn't have Wish. Um, it has
The only reliable recovery is Roost on Zapdos.
yeah, Roost on Zapdos. Wow, that's really it.
Mm-hmm. The only thing really, and then also to go alongside that too is just kind of like to coincide I think the things that we
Iron.
the what?
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Iron Moth does get Morning Sun.
Oh, okay, but
So
it's an Iron Moth.
Actually, yeah. But
But
it's not like enough to it. That's not like for sustain. Like for team like health, that's like I got like flip turned on, you know, and I want to get my health back, or I want to
exactly.
do it as they flip turn out.
Yeah, and Iron Moth I feel like has enough for move slot syndrome as is that you're not always going to be wanting to run Morning Sun. And to kind of just go like bring it all in together, I think that it is not quite bulky enough to like do what you want as a bulky team, and while it has some of the parts to be a hyper offense team like webs, it has it has dual screens when it comes to Aurora Veil, but I think that the immediate damage dealing is not quite there in order to make it fully a hyper offense team. Like Meow is still very strong, don't get me wrong, but outside of a
You kind
choice
of need it
band,
to be banded.
yeah, it needs to be banded in order to do super like impressive damage. And Terapagos is mainly going to be a setup mon. Like you don't love running choice specs on it. You definitely can, but you don't love it. Same deal as Iron Moth, for example. Even behind in Aurora Veil, you're still going to be dying to earthquakes and stuff, especially after hazards, because I do think that hazards are pretty rough for this team. Like Zapdos is being forced to be run boots a lot of the time.
Oh, absolutely.
Ninetales really doesn't appreciate having hazards up because it wants to have light clay. Terapagos doesn't like
Or
hazards.
Focus Sash.
Yes, or focus
Yeah,
sash.
and Terapagos doesn't like to be the designated just honestly, I would argue that while Terapagos is a better Pokemon than Iron Treads is a better spinner than Terapagos, because Terapagos doesn't like to be the guy that gets sent in to clear the rocks, you know? He likes to benefit from there being no rocks, usually. Or not usually, but like that would be like um if you could be like I almost said life orb. That would be fucking delusional. No. If you could be like a damage boosting item, and like if you could be like uh rock polish meteor beam power herb, you know? Like
Yeah.
and you wouldn't have to worry, and like you had better hazard support, and like it wasn't forced to like run rapid spin, to where I feel like on this team most of the time you're gonna want to have to put rapid spin. You're gonna have to put rapid spin on your Terapagos. You
Yes,
know?
because defog on Zapdos, while it's still possible for sure, and it's still decent enough, but Caps mentioned Zapdos doesn't always love defogging. It definitely doesn't mind it, but at the same time, it's also like
It
you're
wants
running
room for that heat wave.
yes, then you have to pick between either running Volt Switch, Heat Wave, or your Flying Stab, which I do think you can drop Hurricane in some matchups, but at the same time, it's like you don't. Then you're losing a lot of your damage dealing potential as well, having to drop that. So that's just kind of a few of the issues that this team has. Overall, I think it's solid. I think that it definitely has its strengths for sure. I do think overall, I still think it's like not much higher than a B tier. I want to
Yeah, no,
say.
this is B. This is B for sure.
I think it's just below Legion's team, just because I think Legion gets the Mega Delphox tax.
Yeah.
I think that's fair, right?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Okay. So kind of dead smack in the middle. And now we only have 2 teams remaining so far. We have Justin next up here, who I think actually has a pretty decent team.
I do like Justin's team. I think that while I do like having an ice type on a team with Galarian Slowking,
Yeah.
well, it might be like even if it was as small as like instead of Komala, you have like a Alolan Sandslash as your rapid spinner.
Mhm.
That would be like, you know, like obviously I understand why Komala's here. It's the hey Spectre, fuck you, bitch, and
Yep.
also stab rapid spin at the same time. I will say I wish that this team had a little more hazard removal, because your 2 hazard removers being Rotom Wash, which don't get me wrong, it runs defog all the time, but holy shit, Rotom Wash without defog is so annoying. It is so obnoxious,
I agree,
because
yeah.
then it can run then it gets to be like, oh, I can run toxic and pain split, or like toxic, or like your choice of status move and pain split, or like whatever like disruption move you want, you know? Like just having that extra slot.
Yeah, I can definitely understand that for sure. Um, I do agree with what Cap
I'm
said
getting
that
tapped in.
Komala.
I'm getting tapped in with the intel there.
Yeah,
That was just like an example of like an ice type that I don't know. I will take your vouch that it did suck. I just think it would be nice if there was an ice type on the team.
yeah, that was just kind of an
That do
example.
benefit from.
Um,
Yeah, I agree. Dual status with Rotom Wash is like crazy good. Um, so it does suck that there's not like another Pokemon. Dude, imagine if Mega Clefable got a fucking knockoff. Or not knockoff. Why did I say knockoff? Defog?
true. And that's another thing too. You know how we were talking so much about having two megas and then like Mega Clefable being there like as an option. This team does not have two megas.
This team has one Mega.
Yeah, and Mega Clefable is bad.
Kind of bad as shit.
I find it really funny. Like granted, you and I, when we did the megas tier list, we did not we just took into account Magic Guard, but like it's funny how you enjoyed that
It's just
mon.
cute charm.
Yeah. But now Cute
Yeah, no,
Charm is just
I've kind of come to realize that Mega Clefable just sucks balls.
you've had a come to Jesus moment.
Yeah, no, I've had a come to Jesus moment since that tier list, and yeah, cute charm. It's just not worth getting rid. It's just not worth the item slot.
Yeah, you're basically running no item Clefable
You're
in
kind
this
of
game.
you're kind of forced into being an offensive Clefable at that point until like, and then when like before you mega, because you're probably going to be either invested in offense or defense, which means if you are base mega Clefable, or if you are base form Clefable before you mega, and because you want to get benefit from your abilities that are actually good, you actually can't tank shit, you know? And so you'll only start, I feel like you'll only start to be actually doing better when you mega evolve,
Mm-hmm.
and then lose your good ability.
Yeah, for sure.
Um,
And like
and then if you're defensively oriented, it's the other way around, like where you'll be able to tank stuff and probably do good with your defensive ability, but you'll lose value as your like in your Pokemon as it mega evolves
yeah.
defensively.
Yeah, you just keep it non-mega and then you're just like losing out on the item slot, which Clefable loves its items. It loves running Life Orb. It loves running leftovers. Like or even boots on like the unaware sets. Like not having an item for Clefable is really really sad because overall I do think that the team is pretty decent. Like Garchomp, Mega not Mega, Galarian Slowking, and then there's Darkrai, Washtome, Melmetal. Like those are all really strong mons. Spidops is pretty decent with sticky webs, and it does kind of help with these kind of not the best speed tiers. Like having 125 for Darkrai is
Yeah,
great.
125 to 108
Is a big
a
gap.
little rough.
And then 102 to 86 means that base 90s are pretty rough for you.
This modest Greninja going in with the heat, bro.
True. This is just like that's just a couple of things to note, really. Like I think as Mons, they're pretty solid. It's just the way that they all kind of slot together is kind of like iffy. Like you're always gonna be running your Garchomp, Slowking, Darkrai, Washtome, and Melmetal, I feel like, and then you're just gonna be slotting on the Infernape, Gourgeist, Mega Clef, Spidops, and Komala as your last Mon, and that kind of makes team building a little like predictable. I feel like maybe one week you
Yeah.
could drop like the Wash Tome for like an Infernape and then run like
No, I
Guard.
feel like you kind of need Rotom Watch every week because that's your like quintessential hazard removal.
Yeah, like I definitely agree. That was just kind of like the one example that I thought of, like of
Yeah.
just dropping one mon and slotting in another thing. Like you might be able to do that one
Uh,
week, but almost every week you're bringing like just about the same top 5 and then slotting in the a different like sixth guy, which makes the team a lot less versatile overall, I feel like.
yeah,
Um,
I agree.
and that's just kind of the biggest issue with the team, I feel like it's very predictable, and what it does, it doesn't exactly do the best, if that makes sense.
I get you.
And also, Garchomp is kind of forced to do like the defensive set a lot of the time because sure, Infernape gets a Stealth Rock, and funnily enough, Mega Clefable does too, but it's also just like, eh, it's just not great. I feel like it's just like you can do that, but at the same time, then like Infernape is your sixth mon, which is fine, but then like yeah, I don't know. It's really weird. I think you're going to be forced to be running like the defensive like hazard stacking Garchomp a lot more than you really want to.
Mhm.
Um and also Caps is mentioning as well. Life Orb regular Clefable is stronger than Mega Clef, and yeah, that's kind of the issue. So it's like
Mhm.
it's just
I
not
feel like
fun.
you're just going to not mega until you can like confirm a kill, you know?
Yeah,
And
until you
that's
can
when you
confirm a
mega.
kill. Cause like you're not even fast. Like you have base 70 speed, so you're gonna get revenge killed super easy. I
Unless, wait, does this thing get agility
don't think it does.
or like some way to raise its speed?
It might get no, it doesn't get Trailblaze. I don't think it might get Tailwind. I guess, but
Does it get tailwind?
I don't know. I really do not know. But objectively, it's just like not that
No,
great.
this is like no way to raise its speed. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, this thing's cooked, bro.
Yeah, overall, I think that the team is pretty like it's solid overall. I just think it has just enough issues. I don't.
I
Are we
think this
thinking
can be the
C,
I, I think this can be the bottom of B.
bottom of B, and then like bump Ash Ice up one?
Um, let me put up the thing on the stream real quick. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
One
Hold
sec.
on. Which one is Ash Ice again?
Ash Ice is right here.
Okay. Yeah, we can bump.
Oh, one moment here. The music is cut out. 1 second. Let me restart this. Restart the quiet music for y'all. There we go. All right, I'll be back.
All right. And then
Okay, so yeah, are we thinking top of A tier for Ash Ice then, and then bottom of
yeah,
B tier for
we're
Justin? I think that's fair, right?
wait, hold on.
Oh yeah, you lost the.
I'm waiting for you. I'm waiting for your stream.
Oh yeah, the stream. Okay.
Yeah, no, I like this.
I think this works out pretty good. And now for the last team of the stream, we have Mr. Manaburn himself.
Last but certainly not least,
He has his value trap inch here.
the, there is Megalopunny and there is Spectrier. I think
Yeah.
Megalopunny is like the scariest Pokemon in the format right now. I'm not even gonna lie.
I think it's right under Mega
I might be a
Delphox.
little. Yeah, I think those two are the scariest. Um, Having Swords Dance and Mach Punch now, and having some other stuff like Cotton Guard, I think. There's some other shit. I don't know why the fuck they gave this on Cotton Guard. I think that one in particular is strange because you can now have like a weirdly defensive Lopunny, and that can like work.
Yeah.
Legitimately, that could just like work.
Yeah, weirdly enough, physically bulky Mega Lopunny is an actual set that can be run. 94 defense isn't even bad when you're talking about +3.
Like
Like,
actually tell like there's nothing bad about like Swords Dance, Cotton Guard, Drain Punch, Return. That's like an actually good set, or maybe even like Double Edge instead of Return. Like you
yeah,
could honestly get away with Double Edge. Like that's a good set.
yeah, it's a thing that you
I
definitely
might
have to
be on
prep
crack.
for.
I don't know.
Like, it's something that you at least have to keep in mind at the bare minimum. Like this thing, it just basically nullifies the fact that you can handle this thing physically. Like, if, for example, like, I know Mana Burn has Talonflame himself, but for example, let's just say your only flying type is your Talonflame, and you're bringing Brave Bird for the Mega Lopunny. Congrats. Now your Mega Lopunny has Cotton Guarded, and Talonflame is doing like 30% to you. As now that you're at +3 defense, now it's just setting up Swords Dances in your face, and not as you're actively killing yourself. Against teams that are particularly fighting weak, like, genuinely, you have zero reason to not, like, you could just run mono fighting if you wanted to. Like with Drain Punch, like Drain Punch, SD, like Wish if you wanted to, like Caps mentioned, like it gets Wish. If you really want to do that, you can even, hell man, you run Wish U-turn. Wish U-turn Mega Lop. If you really want to.
I've seen it. I mean, I think Jirachi can do that literal exact same
I
thing,
agree.
but like just because the options there like means you can do it.
Yeah, the whole point of this entire tangent is to just say Mega
This is a
Lopunny.
jack of trades, essentially master of most right now.
Yes, exactly. Like, it can just do whatever the fuck it wants, and you just have to respect every single set, because no set is bad. Like, you can just do shit with Mega Lop, and its coverage is great. It has amazing utility moves. Like, the main
Yes.
thing
Steve
holding it
wants you
back.
to run special attacking Mega Lopunny. No set is bad, he said. No set. Run special attacking Mega Lopunny right now.
Yes, but only against me. But yeah, that's kind of the whole idea, is that Megalop is just insanely scary on the physical side, and then Spectrier. Like, cool, you have your token normal type to beat the Spectrier team. Yeah, good luck dealing with the Mega Lopunny right after, bozo. Like,
I have a rule about Spectrier, and I think a Spectrier is best used on a team where it is not the most threatening Pokemon.
I agree.
Because it isn't enough on its own to be the primary threat. It has to have something else that's a little bit scarier than it, so both of it can shine.
Yeah.
I want to draft league with Spectrier, and I strongly believe that Spectrier shines best when another Pokemon, and where on my team that was Palafin, is there to like. I don't really understand how to like phrase it, because your team you can build around Spectrier well enough if your team like has the means to beat it, you know?
I
Like
agree.
you have your dark type, you have your normal type, you have something with like an assault vest. Like you have your answer to Spectrier now, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if it's, oh, I have to worry about Spectrier and now Mega Lopunny, it's like, oh fuck. Well, this sucks balls. This is just like bad.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And then, like,
Um,
your speed tiers are insane. Like, I don't even know how to
Normally,
look at these speed tiers, honestly.
normally I'm like, wow, I kind of don't like how things are so fast. But the thing is, like this this team will just like, I don't know how to describe it. It kind of doesn't matter. Like the speed tiers are like a little bit lopsided because they will just kill you. These Pokemon just kill you.
Uh-huh.
Like it's just that simple.
Yeah.
If you let the Lopunny Swords Dance, it will now Mach Punch you, and double edge you. Because honestly, now that you have a strong stab priority, or not, well, I'd say it's strong now if it's Swords Dance boosted, you can get away with running a riskier move like double edge, I think, now that you have Mach Punch.
Yeah, for sure. And like, it's just insane to look at overall because like Jirachi objectively a really strong like bulky mon that handles a lot of the things that that Spectrier and Megalopony don't really enjoy dealing with. Like Lopunny, its biggest weaknesses, of course, are flying and psychic. Jirachi handles those insanely well. Spectrier, not so much, of course, because it overlaps on a lot of weaknesses with Jirachi. But then you have, for example, a Hydreigon. Like Hydreigon isn't exactly bulky, but it can still switch in and deal with like ghost types pretty well. Dark type.
Diancie and Hydreigon are very good switch-ins.
Agreed. Like he has amazing switch-ins for the mons that he needs to. And even just for things to just soak up like neutral hits, Nidoqueen does a really solid job at that, while also being able to threaten decently enough with damage as well. It's one of those weird mons that's like bulky, but it's nowhere near passive. Like you can switch in, take a hit easily, and then still threaten pretty big damage in return. Like not a lot of things are enjoying a sheer force stab boosted sludge wave or earth power, and then like slap on like flamethrower, thunderbolt, ice beam, whatever, and then like you can set up your stealth rocks, your T spikes. Like Mana's hazard game is insane. Like having many things with spikes, rocks, and T spikes alongside 3 spinners and 2 defoggers is fucking insane.
I think that this is one of the best teams in this league, absolutely. Because I think that every single one of the low tiers has a lot of value.
Mm-hmm.
You have your quintessential bulky grass type, and you have rapid spin for it. You get you can throw an assault vest on it. I'm pretty sure this thing gets leech seed. Doesn't Serena get leech seed?
I don't think it does.
If you don't run, okay. Well, I'm gonna look it up now that you didn't say yes.
I don't think it does.
It does not get leech seed. Fuck.
Rip.
It gets okay. This is just like your AV guy, I guess.
AV plus
you get
spin.
U-turn, you get knockoff, you get
triple axle.
Yeah, you get your rapid spin. You get you get your stuff. This is a pretty decent Pokemon. Diancie is a great Pokemon. It can like honestly sweep on its own if you really want to with like body press.
Or even like the Meteor Beam Power Herb set.
Yeah, like Meteor Beam, Rock Polish. I think this also gets this gets Rock Polish. Like a Rock Polish Meteor Beam set unironically works on this too. Then after that you just spam like I don't know, like Power Gem and Moonblast, or like
Draining Kiss,
Mystical Fire, or Draining Kiss. Like you have so many options.
Yeah.
Earth Power, like you just have so much.
Yeah, and spin on Cloyster is definitely fake. Don't get me wrong. That's probably my biggest gripe with the team is that the bulky water is pretty mid.
Yeah, I think Cloyster is kind of a fake water type, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that I don't think it's. I think the thing is that I think it's more of an ice type than a water type. I feel like it doesn't really do that. I feel like it doesn't really do what water types do very well, because you kind of want your water type, I feel like, ideally to resist fire.
Yeah. Funnily enough, honestly,
like for like specifically a bulkier guy.
Funnily enough, you mentioned it earlier, but unironically, his team would rather his Cloyster be a Walrein.
Yeah, I actually agree with that, bro. Dude, we'll pick up Walrein right now. Your team is like beautiful.
And then like upgrade them, and then upgrade them on with the extra points that you save, because like I don't know how much points difference it is, but like it's a decent bit, I imagine.
Get rid of Serena, get Superior, get another over 100 speed Pokemon.
True. And then you get to glare spam.
But I do think that this team is very good.
I
I
agree.
honestly would argue that this is an S tier team.
You know, I can understand it. Like I
I
wasn't
think
thinking
every
about.
single piece of this team is good. Even
Yeah,
Trapinch. Trapinch is a viable Pokemon.
I agree. And Caps mentioned Regieleki not being that great. I can agree, but at the same time, it's at the point where Regieleki doesn't need to come. Like I
I'm
think
a Regieleki Glazer. I don't
I
care. I love Regieleki. I
I
think it's a good thing.
I think he's solid. He can set up screens, and I think his team really appreciates dual screens. Like, it doesn't need it, but it enjoys it. And I mean, we've already discussed that there are multiple teams in the league so far that do not have ground types, and Regieleki is just going to cook on those weeks.
Yeah.
Like,
I really do think that this is a good league for Regieleki because there are a lot of teams with no ground types.
yeah,
This is that you can literally just freely throw choice specs on and just spam volt switch.
yeah,
And that's you're dealing like 40% to like most Pokemon at least
mm-hmm. I
with just a transistor choice specs volt switch.
for sure. And like it's a secondary with rapid spin as well on the weeks that's more of a utility set. I think it's fine for the point value. If you do drop Cloyster and pick up like a Wall Rain or something, I can understand it. Um, and and funnily enough, Trapinch is pretty silly when it comes to like just being able to trap shit and then use like choice band like first impression on things. Like
Mhm.
it can just like
I
clean something up. And then also Scarf Trapinch Caps mentioned does outspeed Heatran or no speed Heatran, which is really fucking silly.
Yo, you got a hush on that elite ball knowledge, man. Everyone's getting exposed right now.
So true. But yeah, I do agree that I didn't think it first initially looking at the team, but I think that just like how well the team synergizes together with its weaknesses and everything,
It's
and
really
like
beautifully made.
yeah,
Like the thing is that
and
it's
also just
slightly
look
weak
at
to
this
ice and
type
water,
chart.
but that's only because of Trapinch. Like it's honestly disregard it. That is a perfect type chart.
Yeah, it is a
Like
perfect
that is
type
an
chart.
amazing type.
I don't think the type chart is absolutely end all be all, don't get me wrong, because I think that the way that the Mons are used in practice, it means a lot more than how it looks on a type chart, but
But the
is something
numbers
to
also
note.
don't lie. The numbers don't lie. Let's just say that.
Yes, like objectively, like on paper, this team has no type like severe type weaknesses, which is really hard to like plan around. Like, because I know for the most part, like in past teams, like when we would look at the chart, we're like, oh, this team does have a pretty bad like weakness to XYZ. This team doesn't have that. Like, um, and I think Mana Burn will find great success using this team. Funnily enough, I did also notice Jirachi gets Healing Wish, so you somehow managed to whittle down that Mega Lopunny or that Spectrier. Okay, now Jirachi can Healing Wish, and now you have to deal with it again, and your
And,
normal type is
and then
dead.
when you whittle down the Mega Lopunny, then it'll use Healing Wish.
Yes, and
Obviously.
exactly. It's this team is just it can do whatever the fuck it wants, and I do think that overall I didn't think it initially. I thought it was just going to be high A, but I do see a vision for it being S tier.
It's an S tier team. This is an S tier team.
Yeah.
I'm glazed. I might be glazing, but this is a really excellent team. I can't say anything other than it's great. Like I don't have an actual issue with this team, other than there's one speed gap which is 98 to 76, and that's like the one. That's the one issue. Oh
Mhm.
wow.
Yeah, or even like I know we were just mentioning this before as well, but also the gap between 126 and 100 is also notable. Like that's also kind of why like you mentioned it before already, but Serena for Superior would just completely fill that in. Like I'm pretty sure Superior gets like 110 speed, right? Or is it like below
It's
110?
113.
113. Yeah, it fills that speed gap in pretty much perfectly. So that's just kind of it, and you really aren't like really worrying about rapid spin that much. Well, maybe you are a little bit if you have like, if you're getting rid of
Yeah,
your
if you get.
cloister.
Oh well, the thing is that you're switching out rapid spin for defog,
Oh,
and
true.
you have
Yeah.
3 defoggers. Like honestly, so what?
Yeah. I think that's completely fine on this team,
Because your team's
especially.
not even weak to hazards. Your team's literally not even weak to hazards.
Yeah. The only mon that's like scared of hazards is like Talonflame, which like boots. Like everything else, like you're not worried about. Like the only time that you're ever worried about spikes is in the Hisuian Samurott. Is in the Hisuian Samurott ish like week. But like outside of that, you're only worried about rocks, and you have
Just
an
read
excellent rock.
just lead Regieleki forehead.
Yeah, exactly. And you have an excellent rock matchup. Like you are completely fine. I do think that having it at second in S tier is 100% fair. And that is the tier list. Looking at it, Kenny, is there anything else that you would change about it? Looking
Uh,
looking at the list, I think that the list overall looks nice. I don't think there needs to be any like bumps up or bumps down just for visual
I think we
sakes.
should make an F tier and put Legion in it. To be honest.
True, I agree. It definitely should. Definitely should have the Legion tier in there. um, but overall, I think that is a perfect way to let us off here. I hope you all enjoyed this power rankings. Thank you so much, Kenny, for joining me for these power rankings. I know I literally like asked you 20 minutes before we started stream, so
Thank you, Steve Spoo, for
um,
having me. I'm always glad to do this. It's always a blast.
yes, and I am really hoping that you all enjoyed the power rankings because I know for a fact y'all were bothering me for the last week and a half to get on this. So, I
It was mostly me. You're welcome, guys.
very true.
He's talking about me. I'm holding up a big sign and it's an arrow pointing down at me right now.
But yeah, so that's the tier list. I'll post it in the announcements once we get back to that. And for anyone who isn't in the Discord, I will be posting the link to the Discord in the chat, and you are all more than welcome to join to follow along with this season if you want. And then also, I would just like to say, what was I gonna say? Fuck me, I can't think of what I was going to say.
I'm waiting that for them guys. You forgot what he was gonna say.
Either later this week or tomorrow, not tomorrow, but later this week or next week, I will also be doing power rankings for the Wi-Fi division as well. I'm planning on getting my team analysis out before doing that. But regardless, I will definitely be doing that at some point here too. Maybe actually no, this was a pretty decent time. I think this was only about 3 hours, but yeah. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.
See you guys.